Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
You will
proven.
bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they've got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican praise verbis Latin.
That's literally not true.
Is that correct?
Oh, for crumb's sake. I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Hello. Who's playing with the buttons this morning? Or this afternoon, excuse me. Hope you had a great lunch, everybody. Sorry, that music's a little bit loud. I got to welcome Greeners, who was first in chat today. I guess he was first, second, third, fourth. No, he got the whole alphabet. 26 letters with spaces. I counted. They're all there. Congratulations, Greeners. First in chat. You really want to own the internet. And so we're going to send it to you with internet ownership for your promptness and your punctuality. The punishment is everything IP-related worldwide. Your responsibility for the rest of the day. And I think that includes through the podcast tonight, Greeners. I'm going to extend your sentence just arbitrarily like that. All right, welcome back. I never type hello, says Purple Coconut. It's never me. You just did. Proof. All right, all the letters are now banned, says Greeners. It used to be that when Greeners typed a letter in chat, we couldn't use them, but apparently Greeners wants the mods to get a break this afternoon. The mods are like, I'm on board with that. Was there an X missing? No, there's an X. It's good. It was more of a Nusky thing. You're right. Adam was the ban the letters thing. We miss Adam terribly. I'm super excited that he has a job that's paying bills and everything. That's great. But we need you back, Adam. You need to get a different job that allows you to be here during the day. Speaking of which, I was just running it by Mrs. R.A. to make sure my schedule was okay with her schedule. And here's what we're going to do. Because we have no court tomorrow, and we have no court on Monday, I believe. We'll find out for sure at the end of today. We're going to go live Friday, Saturday, and Monday and do a catch-up on another trial that's happening. And we'll probably keep doing this with a Friday, Saturday catch-up on the other trial where we watch abbreviated. It's basically, I've just committed to take on another job. It's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live Friday and Saturday. We're going to tag team, dual watch. I don't know what you call it. Dovetail. We're going to watch the Mansion Murders and catch up on that one. On the juicy bits, we'll try to skip some of the stuff that isn't pertinent to the case as far as understanding what's happening and the powers that be that are pulling at each other. So it will probably be 1.25 speed, and we are definitely going to skip the breaks. And it's going to be long days. Prepare yourself. Hopefully you didn't have any plans for the weekend. If there's a wedding or something that was on the schedule, let them know now you won't be there because we've got court to watch. So if your fiance is upset about that, just explain it nicely. They will understand. They'll understand. So this is my dream, says Ashley. Ashley, it's going to be crazy. I'm not sure how we're going to do the moderation. So the mods have been really quiet here. Look at this. So have we, apparently. I do not. I will tell you this. I'll tell all the mods this. I do not expect them to be there this weekend. And I think we're going to be a little more lax on the chat as far as moderation. Not that we're like just letting it all hang out. But I'll probably let chat sort of do its thing and only use the ban hammer if people sort of start going at each other. That's probably what's going to happen. So mods, Samantha, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Don't have to, but if you're available, that'd be great. So 2 trials at once. I don't know. I say this now. I've committed to it on the air. So now it's crazy. I'm hearing something under my feet. I don't want to look because I happen to know that under my feet is a crawl space, like under the house. Something is under my house, right underneath my studio. I'm sorry. I can hear something down there. Oh, man. Let's see. Devin Daughtry gifted 5 memberships. Devin Daughtry, thank you. Thank you for your generosity. What trial? Probably going to be the mansion murders. The brother against brother, where one brother is accused of killing his brother and that brother's wife and 2 kids over money. It's got some great back and forth exchanges. It has some personalities on display in that trial, which I like. It's the kind of drama that makes court very fun and interesting. A little bit of snide remarks and comments and snapping at each other, but not too much, right? So anyway, it's a bear. It could be a bear. Maybe we're going to talk about that tonight on the podcast. Bears under the house. That's actually in the news right now. I hadn't included on the rundown. Maybe I'll add that. Do you have enough Mountain Dew for this? No Mountain Dew. I've sworn off the dew. I have not had soda in many weeks. So it's the roach. No, this is bigger. If anything, I think it might be an opossum. A possum. Is it a possum or an opossum? I don't know. All right. Either way, we're going to be going back to court here in just a second. So let's get that running. And we'll get the audio and everything all working beautifully. My wife right now, bless her heart, is headed to the post office to pick up packages for me, right?
She's headed to the library and she'll swing by the post office.
Okay, she's going to the library and then the post office. So thank you for that. I know I've got something waiting for me that I think I might need by the podcast tonight, which will be fun. Let's see, quality auto 1080p. There we go. Live there, live here. Watch that. All right. This is the time of year I love in North Carolina because the roaches are pretty much dormant for like this 4-week period in the winter. And so they don't come in the house. So we've got a few weeks where we don't have to fight them off at the doorsteps. Oh my goodness, you'll never guess what's happening right now on the burner phone. I am getting a call from, I don't know who, but I guess I have a vacation. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Sorry, my headphones are not working. Oh, they hung up. I'm sorry. Couldn't hear them. It was a spam call. We were going to start the day off with a spam call. Please be about my travel credits. Yes, I think it was. Let's see. Can you open mine on the air? I used gift bags. Possibly. I will tell you that Mrs. R.A. and people that I respect a lot in the YouTube world have advised me against opening things on the air. And some of them advised me against opening things at all. But we'll see. Water guys in the crawl space again. It's probably my neighbor, honestly. I think underneath me there, I think I do have a crawl space underneath me. Is this crawl space or is it? Yeah, it's crawl space. Basement's over there. I've got a partial basement. All right. Let's see. No, it's from the Amazon and nothing bad. All right. I'll watch for that. Hopefully the kids won't open it. They're gone right now, and hopefully they won't open it before they get home. Sometimes they get a little excited. All right, we are just about 5 minutes before we kick off the afternoon court watch, and I have to do some syncing here to get all the best video and pictures working for you. Why would your neighbor be under your house? Great question. That's what I asked him. Why are you under my house? Why did you just open my door to my basement? Why did you let some random people from the city work crew into my house without my permission? These are all great questions. I talked to the police about them as well. They can open it with you in the room, then just hand it to you. Okay, sounds good. Why are you in the basement? Because that's where you left him. Right, I'm going to try to fix the sound glitch. I know we were about a third of a second off there yesterday. I'll see if I can do a better job timing it to match up audio and video to make it seamless. Does anyone remember the name of the TV show that is similar to this murder? Someone mentioned it yesterday in chat. A TV show? Like a Dexter type thing? Or are you talking about a Hollywood movie? I don't think it's the Babysitter's Club, Greenish. I think we're on a different page than you. The Closer. The Closer. This trial feels like one extended Jerry Springer episode. Josh says, I won't be able to mod this weekend. I have a family member who found out they were pregnant yesterday and due Saturday. Bad time. What? Josh, this is newsworthy. I mean, I'm not just talking about us announcing it here, but you might want to call the National Enquirer, or if you're there in England, the Sun. Daily Mail maybe might even pick it up. That's something else. All right, deets, please. Yes, in mod chat. Season 1, it's called Fantasy Dates. Man. Yeah, I missed that show. I don't think I'm going to catch up. It's not going to be on my Netflix and chill list anytime soon. Oh, man. Glad we have each other. Katie Bug, thank you very much. This is an amazing community. We are all friends here. Even though we have some differences in opinion and everything else, the fact of the matter is we all just get along, and that's awesome. And, lend a hand when needed. There's a whole show about not knowing you're pregnant. I think I could star on that show because I'm pretty sure I'm not. I would go as far as to say 99.999, like octillion nines. I'm sure that I'm not. Nobody got the joke. Okay. All right, just said Netflix and chill. You know what happened, Melissa? This morning I watched a YouTube video. I forget what, it was like Hutchins High School. They had a guest speaker come in, and he spoke all in like modern terminology, like modern age kid talk. Not like baby talk, but like how high schoolers text each other and talk online. It's rubbed off on me a little bit. All right, Let's see. They were low-key talking about Netflix. Yes, low-key was in there. And so was bet. I don't know what bet means. I guess you just say it instead of Or maybe it's like no way. Love this judge portrait. It's a nice one. It's looking good. I actually missed it. That would have been a perfect transition to sync up the video to. But now I'll watch carefully to see when things happen. Bet is like an affirmative particle. No, we're not doing. That's the one that we're not going to do. Not that one. Bet means yes and good. So it's like 10-4 good buddy of the old CB days. Not CBD. That's different. That's also modern. And sort of older times as well. Oh, there we go. I think it's nearly synced up. We're like almost perfect. What do you think? Yeah, let's just go with it. I think this is good. All right. Bet means okay. My grandkids say it all the time. No cap? Josh Hutchins says, I do in all honesty have 2 babies due this summer, one in July and one in August. All right. On this topic, we're going to stop talking about poor language because Red Pen is going to come unglued. The English teacher that she is. No cap means no lie. I used it properly. I am learning this new dialect. Okay, where are we in the trial? Let me tell you. Today has been a sort of a whirlwind, especially compared to yesterday, with the au pair taking the entire day, most of it on cross-examination. I think if not, maybe all of it, almost the entire thing on cross-examination. And we got almost nothing from it. it was I'm not saying it was a nothing burger. The jury did get something from it. They got a good picture of her personality. They got how she acts under confrontation. They got that sort of stuff that they can pick up, and maybe information they can use to judge her other testimony to see if they believe it or not. They got a lot of that material. But as far as new facts about the case or new testimony or insights, nothing. Okay, hold please. We're so close. We're within
ready for the jury?
eighth of a second.
If we can address one matter,
Sure.
on your bench, a letter we can approach.
Okay, sure.
There's a matter on your bench if we can approach, says the prosecutor. Interesting. They point back towards the back of the courtroom. She's reading something. They might be having a problem with the fact that the mics are picking up some of their discussions. Jury got to see she's not a wallflower. Yeah. This is the weirdest trial. How did she get that deal? She negotiated for it, I'm sure. Just like she negotiates for her...
Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Okay.
All right, now are we ready for the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Bringing it to my attention. That means something happened that the judge should know about. And she promptly opens up her computer to look at something. To see what is... what's up and what's what and how many, right? Is that what Sarah Boone would say? The court is very timely. We love it. Love a prompt judicial schedule. Jennifer, yeah, those pictures are out there. You can see the before and after. Very, very different. I mean, obviously, you saw all the personal care products that were on the au pair's dresser in her room. She had one of everything.
Your next witness?
In
It's
jail,
going to be
you
Kara
don't get that.
McCarthy, Your Honor. Sorry, one more time, Karen. Kara McCarthy. Karen McCarthy, thank you.
Kara, not Karen. Kara McCarthy is what I heard. Maybe the reporter from Fox 5 saying on air that he could see the defense's computer from the gallery. Yeah. But they wouldn't be allowed to show it.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Thank you. Thank you.
She brings her binder. It looks like we're getting into some DNA testing.
Good afternoon.
Might
Good
be a little-
afternoon.
Could you please state and spell your name for the court record?
My name is Kara McCarthy, CARAMCCARTHY.
And what is your occupation?
I am the supervisor of the Firearm and Toolmark section at the Virginia Department of Forensic Science, the Northern Laboratory in Manassas.
And how long have you been employed by the Department of Forensic Science?
For almost 12 years.
And for how long have you been assigned to the Forensic Firearm and Toolmark section?
The entire time.
What is firearm identification and analysis?
Firearms identification has a primary concern to determine if a bullet, a cartridge case, or other ammunition component was fired from a particular firearm.
And how is firearm identification possible?
Firearms identification is possible because most manufacturing processes involve the transfer of rapidly changing microscopic markings onto various tool surfaces, like firearm parts. And these firearm parts may impart markings onto ammunition components when they come in contact with each other. And then I can evaluate these markings on ammunition components in the laboratory using microscopy.
And where did you work before you worked for the Virginia Department of Forensic Science?
I was previously employed as a firearm and toolmark examiner with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Division of Forensic Sciences in Decatur, Georgia.
And could you please describe your duties as a forensic firearm and toolmark examiner?
Some of my job duties include evaluating firearms-related evidence that is submitted to the laboratory, analyzing the results of that evidence, reporting on my findings in a certificate of analysis, testifying when requested, providing training to scientists in the section, and also managing the day-to-day operations of the section.
And approximately how many firearms examinations have you conducted in your career?
Approximately 2,500.
What's your relevant educational background?
I have a Bachelor's of Science in Forensic Science from Baylor University, and I also have a Master's in Education from the University of Notre Dame.
And what specialized training have you had in the field of forensic firearm and tool mark examination?
When I started my training at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, I underwent a rigorous training program with GBI and NFSTC, National Forensic Science Technology Center. And during that time, I successfully completed numerous oral, written, and practical examinations in multiple blocks of instruction in the firearm and tool mark discipline. I also attended a comprehensive manufacturing plant tour. I was qualified to work cases in the firearm and tool mark section, and I did so for a period of time before I accepted a position with the Virginia Department of Forensic Science, again went through a brief training program with Virginia, and again was qualified to work casework in the firearm and tool mark section.
And have you had occasion to train others in the field of forensic firearms and tool mark analysis?
Yes, I have.
And what subjects have you taught?
I've provided training in the firearm and tool mark discipline to trainees in the section. I'm also an adjunct instructor for George Mason University. I teach their firearm and tool mark identification class for their graduate forensic science program.
Have you previously been qualified as an expert witness in the area of forensic firearm and tool mark examination and analysis?
Yes, I have.
And in what courts have you been so qualified?
I have testified in several courts in the state of Georgia, as well as numerous courts in the Commonwealth of Virginia, including the counties of Fairfax, Loudoun, Prince William, Page, and the cities of Winchester, Alexandria, Norfolk, Portsmouth, among others, and United States District Court, the Eastern District in Alexandria.
Do you have an estimate as to the number of times that you've been qualified as an expert?
I have testified approximately 89 times. A majority of those I was qualified as an expert.
And do you have an estimation of how many times you've been qualified as an expert in Fairfax County?
About 9 times.
Judge, I would ask that the witness be qualified as an expert in the area of forensic firearm and ammunition examination comparison, as well as muzzle to target distance determination.
Ms. Brady, thank you so much.
All right, so move then.
Are you familiar with the components of a cartridge?
Yes, I am.
The demonstration.
And did you bring a demonstrative to help explain this to us?
Yes, I did.
Could you please describe these components for us with your demonstrative?
Yes, Your Honor, may I retrieve it?
Yes.
I don't want to say this, but I think hers is bigger than mine.
This is a demonstrative aid of a cartridge. A cartridge is a single unit of ammunition, and it's made up of 4 parts: the primer, the cartridge case, the propellant inside the cartridge case, and the bullet.
And are you familiar with the functioning of a semi-automatic firearm?
Yes.
Could you explain how a cartridge is fired from a firearm?
Cartridges are loaded into the magazine, and the magazine is inserted into the frame of the firearm. On top of the frame sits a barrel and slide. Pull the slide of the firearm rearward and let go. As the slide travels forward, it will strip a cartridge from the magazine into the chamber of the firearm, which is the rear portion of the barrel. At that time, the firearm is ready to fire. Put your finger on the trigger and pull the trigger rearward. This will release the firing mechanism, and the firing pin, will strike the primer of the cartridge. The primer will ignite the propellant. The propellant will burn, and gas will build up and force the bullet out of the cartridge case and down the barrel of the firearm. The energy will send the slide traveling rearward, where the extractor will extract the cartridge case out of the chamber, and the ejector will kick the cartridge case out of the firearm.
That's the best
The slide
explanation
travels
I've ever
forward
heard.
again, stripping a new cartridge from the magazine into the chamber. And you can repeat the process by pulling the trigger again.
That was good.
Can you describe the process by which you examine firearms and ammunition components in a laboratory setting?
I routinely examine firearms and ammunition components like bullets and cartridge cases in the laboratory. Regarding firearms, I conduct a visual and physical examination to determine if they are in working order. I check the safety features of the firearm and test fire the firearm at the lab. Regarding ammunition components, I evaluate these microscopically to determine if they have suitable markings on them for comparison to other ammunition components in the case or to test fires that I produce from a firearm.
And were you asked to analyze firearms, magazines, ammunition components, and a t-shirt for this particular case?
Yes, I was.
Okay. At this point in time, I am going to ask to admit what I believe is going to be Commonwealth's probably 235. And it is, I've got it in a box over here.
All right. Any objection to 235?
Now, this witness is here on a subpoena. She's an official witness.
I think it's
so
a
she's not
I think it's a
paid.
firearm.
She's not expert. It's not like an expert witness that makes $500 an hour to testify.
Okay, no objection to 235?
235.
Generally, if you hit the up arrow on your remotes, you should get a couple buttons that appear. One of them is a little chat bubble. You can deselect that. It'll make chat disappear. Depends on your TV version. This is the actual, or one of the actual firearms. Wish we could see who was opening this. Oh, it's the bailiff. Yeah, keep it pointed safely.
And do you recognize this
witness
item?
May I look at the container?
Yes.
She's basically going to say, all firearms look the same to me. The bailiff's trying to hold this in like the ready
Yes,
shooter
I recognize
position.
Commonwealth's Exhibit item 235 by the laboratory number and 231753 and the initials on the container. My initials on the container.
And what is the item?
It's a Glock
This
43X.
item is a firearm. It's a Glock Model 19M 9mm Luger pistol.
That's his
And
service weapon.
when you began your examination of this firearm, were there any attachments on it?
Yes.
And what was the attachment?
There is a flashlight that's attached to the firearm.
Was it necessary to remove that flashlight?
Yes, for my examination.
And what did you do to determine whether this firearm was in working order?
I performed a visual and physical examination on the firearm. I checked the safety features of the firearm, and I also test fired it.
And what was the result of your examination?
This firearm, the Glock Model 19M, was found to be in mechanical operating condition with the safety features functioning properly.
And are you familiar with the item number 1 on your certificate of analysis lab sheet?
Yes, I am.
And what is that item?
Item 1 on the certificate of analysis for laboratory number N23-1753 is a 9mm Luger cartridge case.
And tell us how you went about analyzing item 1.
I microscopically examined the item 1 cartridge case and compared it to test fires that I produced from Commonwealth's Exhibit 235.
And what was the result of the examination?
The item 1 cartridge case was identified as having been fired in Commonwealth's Exhibit 235, the Glock Model 19M pistol.
And are you familiar with item 80 on your certificate of analysis lab sheet?
Yes.
And what is item 80, and how many parts did it have?
Didn't you skip the
Item
lands and
80
grooves?
on the certificate of analysis for N23-1753 contains 3 bullet fragments and 2 lead fragments from autopsy.
And whose autopsy are they from?
The autopsy of Joseph Ryan.
And tell us how you went about analyzing these bullet fragments.
The bullet fragments were designated items 80A, 80B, and 80C. These were microscopically examined, and the item 80A bullet fragment was compared to test fires produced from Commonwealth's Exhibit item 235, the Glock Model 19M pistol.
And we can put that item aside, and we're going to move on to a different firearm.
Didn't she skip the part where she has to describe how the barrel causes grooves to be made on the outside of the bullet as it's fired? And you can match those up, and she skipped the part that's important about her job. How you matched
and Judge,
it up.
I'm going to ask to admit this as Commonwealth's 236.
236, any objection to 236? 230, it's the second firearm. All right, 236.
This is the Glock 43X. Probably also 9mm. I have a knife in the courtroom. Looks like a buck. Folding knife.
And
looks like the same gun, right? Glock makes very
do you
similar
recognize this
pistols.
item?
Yes, I recognize this item by the laboratory number N23-1753 and my initials on the container.
And what is it?
Tritium night sights.
This item is a firearm. It's a Glock Model 43X 9mm Luger pistol.
And what did you do to determine whether this firearm was in working order?
I performed a visual and physical examination on the firearm, checked the safety features, and I also test fired the firearm.
And what was the result of your examination?
This firearm, the Glock Model 43X, was found to be in mechanical operating condition with the safety features functioning properly.
And are you familiar with item 2 on your certificate of analysis lab sheet?
Yes.
And what is item 2?
Item 2 for laboratory number N23-1753 is a 9mm Luger cartridge case.
And can you tell us how you went about analyzing the cartridge case?
I microscopically analyzed the item 2 cartridge case and compared it to test fires that I produced from Commonwealth's Exhibit 236, the Glock Model 43X pistol.
And I'm sorry, what was the result of the examination?
The item 2 cartridge case was identified as having been fired in Commonwealth's Exhibit 236, the Glock Model 43X.
And are you familiar with item 81 on your certificate of analysis lab sheet?
Yes, I am.
And what is it?
Item 81 on laboratory case number N23-1753 is a bullet from the autopsy of Joseph Ryan.
And tell us how you went about analyzing this bullet.
I microscopically examined the bullet, item 81, and compared it to test fires from Commonwealth's Exhibit 236, the Glock Model 43X pistol.
And what was the result of your examination?
The item 81 bullet was identified as having been fired from Commonwealth's Exhibit 236, the Glock Model 43X pistol.
Did you memorialize your conclusions in a certificate of analysis?
Yes.
In a moment, I hope to show you that.
witness is doing a great job, but they are truncating her testimony a great deal. We haven't talked about the firing pin and the marks it leaves. We haven't talked about the unique scratches and marks made by the ejector, by the barrel rifling. We haven't talked about any of the details. It would be like just saying, we looked at fingerprints and they matched. I guess that's what we did as well with the fingerprint guy. Only he just said they didn't match. We didn't talk about loops and whirls and swirls and defects. If this same pattern holds true with the DNA testimony, we might not hear that DNA stands for what it does, and you get half from your mom and half from your dad. They're just leaving parts of it out. You've got mail. Judge doesn't like delays. What's the holdup? The judge doesn't care. She's doing paperwork.
It's not here.
It's not here.
Exhibit R 230. Hold on. No, nothing has been loaded onto this. If you had it on there, it had to be loaded onto here.
I got it on here.
Okay? But you don't have,
Yes, I do.
you have HDMI?
No, I have a dongle.
Right, where?
I have a dongle.
In my... I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I have a dongle in my bag. Don't we all? I have many dongles in my
Look
bag.
up. There you go.
Get it.
I'm just going to reassemble my demonstratives.
Okay. If I could have you take a look at the document that's displayed on your screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm going to scroll through it. This has been stipulated to its admissibility. Is this your lab sheet?
Yes, it is.
And can you note the date for us?
This is the certificate of analysis that I produced on this case. The certificate of analysis is dated April 11th, 2023.
And does this lab sheet reflect the results that we've just discussed?
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Judge, if we could terminate this view, I would ask to admit this as Commonwealth 234.
Any objection to 234? You need your microphone, Mr. Carroll. I can't.
I don't have an objection, Judge, but I'd like to leave this up for cross-examination.
Well, I don't. Are you done now? Or?
I have one more section.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, but I'm sure they can leave it up for you.
Yes.
Okay. So it is in evidence as 234. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Were you asked to do an additional analysis in this case at a later date?
Yes, I was.
What type of analysis were you asked to do?
I was asked to perform a muzzle to target distance determination examination.
And which items did you use, which exhibits and items did you use to do that?
For that examination, I used item 83, which is a t-shirt. I also used item, it's my item 5, the Glock Model 43X pistol and cartridges in the case.
And is that the Glock 43X pistol that we just examined here?
Yes.
What what is a muzzle to target distance determination?
A muzzle to target distance determination is an examination that's conducted in an attempt to determine the approximate distance the muzzle of the firearm was from the target at the time of firing.
And how is it possible to determine how far away a firearm was at the time it was fired?
When a firearm is fired, not only does the bullet exit the firearm, but also gunshot residues. These residues leave the firearm in the shape of a cone, and they are comprised of burned, unburned, partially burned gunpowder particles, as well as vaporous lead or smoke, lead particulate, and really anything else that's in the barrel at the time of firing. And these residues can be deposited in a predictable and reproducible pattern at certain distances. So in the laboratory, I can examine items of clothing, examine them for gunshot residues, and then compare them to known targets that I've created in the laboratory.
And how do you conduct this examination in the laboratory?
Regarding the evidence item of clothing, I visually, microscopically, and chemically process that for the presence of gunshot residues. I also create test targets at known distances and compare those test targets to the results of the evidence clothing.
And were you able to draw any conclusions about the distance between the muzzle of the .43X and the hole in the t-shirt?
Yes.
And what was that conclusion?
The t-shirt, item 83 on my lab report, had a hole in the front left middle area. And this area was visually, microscopically, and chemically processed for gunshot residues, and no pattern of residues was found. Therefore, this is indicative of the muzzle of the Glock 43X having been greater than approximately 21 inches from the hole in the shirt at the time of firing, barring the presence of an intervening object.
21 inches.
And did you
Wow,
memorialize your
4 feet.
conclusions in a certificate of analysis?
Yes, I did.
And Judge, if I could have this next item displayed only to the witness.
There's a lot of discrepancy in the world of firearm analysis that you just described as to how far that gunshot could travel, those residues and
do you see the
vaporous
document on
lead
your
and
screen?
everything else.
Yes.
2 to 4 feet is general range.
This is, I'm asking to admit this as Commonwealth's 231, and it has been stipulated too.
I already have 231 as Christine's phone with
Oh, I'm sorry. Then
the app showing.
we'll do that as
Correct, Shannon?
Yes. 235,
235 is the firearm Glock 19M.
236,
236 is the firearm Glock 43X.
237,
That is blank.
237.
237.
Pick a number, any number.
Any objection?
Just not those ones.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to scroll through this so that you can see. Is this your lab sheet?
Yes.
I don't have any further questions for you. Mr. Carroll is going to have some questions for you. I'm going to separate for this for just a moment so that only the lab sheets that Mr.
Okay.
Carroll is looking
All right,
for are showing.
Take a moment to do that. Mr. Carroll, are you going to need the firearms themselves for your cross-examination? Okay. I'm going to. You can bring them over here. I'm Deputy Johnson. Thank you.
State having a few little snafus with technology and preparation. Doesn't look good, but they managed to bumble their way through. Jennifer Kittrell, we are going to hear about the disagreement between investigators. We're starting to hear little breadcrumbs that are leading us in that direction about different investigators. Had he left already? Is he still with the department? Who was in charge now? Who had taken over? We've heard a little bits of that through a couple witnesses, but we haven't gotten into any of the juicy tidbits yet. We anticipate them coming later in the trial. There was, Northwest, there was actual disagreement, and people changed jobs over it. Whether it was voluntary or not, we'll find out. assignments were shuffled. Not sure if this is the state still trying to fix the evidence to prep it for the defense, or if the defense trying to figure out how to get started.
Okay.
It's the state.
Okay.
Witness is just chilling.
Good afternoon, Ms. McCarthy.
Good afternoon.
Can't hear you, sir.
Who previously had spoken in prep, or I guess months before this trial date. I indicated that I was going to stipulate to your lab sheets when they asked me to do that, but I did have some questions related to how you receive the firearms and what you do with the firearms after you're done. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point you receive, and if I'm assuming something wrong, please tell me.
Okay.
At some point you receive the firearms from the evidence detectives at Fairfax County Police Department, correct?
The firearms are submitted to the laboratory to evidence receiving specialist, and that's when they get a laboratory number assigned to them and they're entered into our system.
Okay. And so there's someone in your organization that takes it and then brings it to you for whatever the specific test is?
They receive the evidence from the agency. They may transfer that evidence to the section, or I may pick up the evidence at their section.
Okay, and I think we're talking about on 235, Exhibit 235, we're talking about the the Glock 19M?
Yes.
Okay. Was it packaged like it was today for you when you opened it up?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so same packaging, and then you put yellow tape over it after you're done?
That's correct.
Okay, and when you took it out, what was the condition of the firearm when you got an opportunity to handle it?
I can refer specifically to my notes, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Can I refer to my notes, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The Glock Model 19M was received in a closed brown bag with a zip tie through the action of the firearm, and a flashlight was attached to the firearm. And there was possible biological material that I noted on the firearm.
Okay, and the biological material, would that have been blood?
That's outside my area of expertise.
Okay. Well, I guess that my question is there any sort of a cleanup of that firearm in order to do the things that you do to test it?
No, I did not clean the firearm.
Okay, and are there any instructions to police department evidence clerks or detectives who are bringing things like firearms to you and how they should be in, what condition they should be in before you get them?
Firearms can be submitted to the laboratory in the same condition that they are recovered in, particularly ones that are submitted in water. We want the agency to submit the firearm with water or in water.
Okay. And is there any situation where you would want them, if say there were other tests that needed to be done, where you would advise them to do other tests before the tests that you do? There
are some agencies that do test fire the firearm for entry into the NIBIN system before it's submitted to the laboratory.
And was that done in this case, do you know?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So the testing, would the testing have you done, that you did in creating this lab sheet, would that have caused any contamination to any later blood analysis that was on the gun?
Again, any analysis regarding biological materials outside my area of expertise.
Okay, so you don't, there are no policies or anything regarding that?
Typically, if there is a request for a DNA test or a latent print test, that would occur before it comes to the firearms section.
Okay.
So did you guys wash it before you
I have
shot
no
it?
further questions, Judge.
All right, redirect.
Neither of these firearms were submitted to you on water, correct?
That's correct.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No, Judge.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I think she did a great job. Good witness. Probably one of the best descriptions, concise, of how her job works, what she does, although she left out the
All right, your next
details.
witness.
Catherine Colombo, please.
Catherine, I'm sorry, what was the last name?
Colombo.
Colombo, she's got
Thank
to be
you.
a detective.
Catherine Colombo.
With a name like that? If she's not doing some sort of investigation, she's in the wrong profession. Apologize. My YouTube account manager has scheduled a meeting with me that's supposed to start in just a couple minutes. And there's no way for me to reschedule it without showing up to the meeting and saying I need to reschedule this. So I'm trying to watch that in one window. Well, I also watch this, so. I can do two things at once. Just watch.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Could you please state and spell your name for the court record?
My name is Catherine Colombo.
No, my
My
audio's
first
off.
name is spelled Kathryn. My last name is spelled Colombo.
Thank you. What is your current occupation and where are you employed?
I'm a forensic scientist, and I'm employed by the Virginia Department of Forensic Science
And how long have you worked for DFS?
for 18 years.
Did you have any experience in forensic DNA testing prior to DFS?
I did. I was employed for 9 years as a DNA analyst at a private forensic DNA testing laboratory. I was employed for 3 years at the FBI laboratory conducting testing in the serology and DNA analysis units. And I was employed for 1 year at the Suffolk County Laboratory in New York in the same capacity, conducting body fluid testing and DNA testing.
Outside of your extensive experience, did you have to go through any specific training to become a DFS employee?
At DFS, and actually for each of my places of employment, there was specialized training with supervisory and senior scientists, and it involved a combination of attending lectures, reading the literature, processing a wide range of samples in the laboratory, and then successfully completing laboratory written and oral competencies.
Thank you. What are your responsibilities as a forensic scientist at DFS?
I examine items of evidence for the presence of body fluid stains, such as blood and semen. I conduct DNA testing. I issue reports of my results and interpretations, and I testify in court when needed.
Speaking of testimony, have you testified as an expert before?
I have.
All right. Do you recall testifying as an expert in Fairfax County?
Yes.
How many times?
Approximately 30.
All right, thank you. Judge, at this time, I would offer Ms. Colombo as an expert in the field of forensic science and DNA analysis.
Any objection? No. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Colombo, can you briefly describe for the jury what DNA is?
The letters are an abbreviation for deoxyribonucleic acid, and it's the chemical substance found in our bodies that contains all the information and instructions that a person needs to develop and function during his or her lifetime. So it contains the information and instructions that influence the person's physical traits, and it contains the information and instructions that directs and regulates cellular processes occurring in the body. We inherit our DNA from our parents, half from our father and half from our mother.
And can you describe for the jury what DNA typing is?
Forensic DNA typing is a laboratory procedure that examines locations or regions of the DNA where individuals may have different DNA information. It's used to determine if an evidence profile, perhaps it's a profile from a sample from the crime scene, it's used to determine whether that evidence profile could or could not have originated from certain individuals whose DNA has been submitted for comparison. And this information can be useful in the investigation of a criminal case.
So how do you do this? What is the process that you use at the lab to type DNA?
It's a multi-step process, and it begins with a DNA extraction. And this is the step where the cells present in the sample are broken open to release the DNA, and then the DNA is purified of other cellular material. Then an assessment is made of the quantity and the quality of the DNA. Then a technique is used to label and make millions of copies of specific regions of the DNA. And at the end of this step, I have labeled copies of DNA fragments of different lengths. I then utilize an instrument to separate the fragments by size and detect the labels. And the information or the data from this instrument is imported into a software program that allows me to visualize the DNA profiles.
And what is the name of that software program, if you will?
That's called Gene Mapper.
Okay. Do the terms Powerplex fusion mean anything to you?
Yes, that's the name of the routine DNA test that I conduct, and it examines 24 regions on the DNA. I also conduct Y chromosome testing, which examines 17 regions on the Y chromosome.
What information do you then rely on for your statistical analysis?
For that analysis, I use the actual data for the evidence profile being evaluated, and I use population studies of the frequencies of the DNA types that's provided by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and I'm utilizing standards and guidelines in the field as well as my own laboratory's procedures.
All right, let's talk about other types of testing that you might perform outside of DNA. Do you test for bodily fluids?
I do.
Okay, and what information do you use or what methods do you employ to detect the presence of bodily fluids?
Body fluid testing, blood is indicated using visual and chemical tests. For seminal fluid, these tests are done using visual tests, chemical tests, and/or immunological tests. I also conduct a microscopic examination for spermatozoa, which are the male reproductive cells.
All right. So I think later we're going to see not confirmatory. What does it mean when the results of these tests on bodily fluid are not confirmatory?
Yes, so the blood and the seminal fluid tests that I do are called presumptive tests, and it means that a substance could possibly cause a positive reaction when either of those body fluids are not actually present. The identification of spermatozoa with a microscopic examination, that is a confirmatory test.
Thank you. So did you receive evidence collected from each of the 4 individuals involved in this case?
I did.
And what did you receive? Specifically, did you receive perk kits?
I did.
Okay. What is a perk to your knowledge?
It's a kit that contains samples and swabbings from various body areas.
And did you receive a perk from Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan?
I did, and each contained a blood sample from which I produced a DNA profile to be used for comparison to evidence profiles.
All right. And then from Juliana Perez Magalhães and Brendan Banfield, did you receive a different type of material?
Yes.
What did you receive?
I received buccal samples from each, and a buccal sample is a swabbing of the inside of the mouth, of the inner cheeks, and it's a way for an individual to provide a DNA sample from which a profile can be developed and used for comparison to evidence profiles.
So you were able to develop a DNA profile for each of the 4 individuals involved in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You were then given a number of items to test for the presence of DNA and compare to those 4 profiles, right?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately how many certificates of analysis did that produce?
5.
Okay. I'm going to draw your attention to what I would like to offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 160, the lab analysis sheet from May 22nd, 2023.
Any objection? All right, 160 in evidence?
And if that can be published, please.
Yes.
All right, do you recognize this exhibit?
Do we get to see it too?
Can you identify what it is?
It's the certificate of analysis that I issued for laboratory case number N231753, and it's dated May 22nd, 2023.
All right. Let's walk through the items that you tested that resulted in the production of this certificate of analysis. We see item 10, the knife, and if I can have the court
That's all we got to
share Commonwealth's 114, previously admitted. Is this the item that you tested?
It appears to be, yes.
All right. Tell us about your results.
I collected a sample of red-brown staining from the sharp edge of the blade, and I recovered a sample of red-brown staining from the heel of the blade, and blood was indicated in each of those samples, and I developed the same DNA profile from each of those samples. And Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of that profile. Brendan Banfield, Juliana Perez Magalhães, and Joseph Ryan were each eliminated as contributors of that DNA profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed from these 2 samples is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion, which is the approximate world population. And that was the case when I did the calculation in each of 3 population groups, the Caucasian, the African American, and the Hispanic. I then recovered a sample of red-brown staining from the underside of the handle where the blade and the handle meet, and I developed a DNA mixture profile. And that means that DNA from more than 1 individual was present. Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Magalhães were eliminated as contributors to the mixture profile. I referred the data for this mixture profile to a separate analyst for evaluation with specialized software and for conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan and any statistics if applicable.
Thank you. Going back to your test of the blade of the knife, and the language that an individual could not be eliminated as a contributor, would you also be able to say that means it was a match to the contributors that you did identify?
That could be another term that could be used. Could not be eliminated, a match, an inclusion.
Thank you.
She goes with match.
I'm now going to ask you to take a look at what's been previously admitted as Commonwealth's 129.
Camera's lost. There we go. Camera's going back.
Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And this was the fitted sheet from the bedroom of Juliana Perez Magalhaes. Is that your understanding?
It is.
What areas of this sheet did you test?
I tested 5 stained areas. 4 of them were located inside that center area where there's the larger circle. And then 1 was located below the larger circle. And spermatozoa, which are the male reproductive cells, were identified in these 5 stained areas. I collected samples for DNA from 3 of the 5 areas, and I developed DNA profiles consistent with originating from common contributors. And because of that consistency, I selected the data from just 1 of the areas for further analysis and reporting. When I processed this sample, I used a method that attempts to separate the DNA information contained within the sperm cells from the DNA information contained within any other cell type present in the sample. So from the sperm fraction, I developed a DNA profile. Brendan Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of that profile. The other 3 individuals were eliminated as a contributor of that profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed from the sperm fraction is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
All right, so Brendan Banfield's spermatozoa was identified on Juliana Perez Magalhaes' bedsheet.
He could not be eliminated as a contributor of that profile, and the other 3 individuals were eliminated.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
For the non-sperm fraction, I developed a DNA mixture profile. And Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Magalhaes could not be eliminated as contributors to the mixture profile. Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan were each eliminated as contributors to the mixture profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual who would be included as a contributor to this mixture profile is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion, and that was the case in each of the 3 population groups.
Thank you. Turning to item 91, the Physical Evidence Recovery Kit, or PERC, from Christine Banfield. When you examined the contents of that kit, what did you determine?
In the kit, there was a vaginal cervical sample, an anorectal sample, and an oral sample, and blood was indicated on the oral sample. The blood tests were inconclusive for the vaginal cervical and anorectal sample, and no male DNA was detected on any of these samples, so no further testing was conducted. In the kit, there was a left breast swab, a right breast swab, a swabbing of the back of the left hand, and a swabbing of the palm of the left hand, and blood was indicated on each of these samples. From each of these samples, I developed a full profile attributable to Christine Banfield, and there were types different from Christine Banfield. However, the types different were too limited for comparison purposes. I did determine at this stage in the testing that it was possible that male DNA was present in these samples.
And did you then set those samples aside for further testing?
I reported that male DNA was possibly present and that these may be suitable for further Y chromosome DNA testing.
All right. To go back for just a second, though, before we looked at the left backhand, right breast, left palm, the anorectal, oral, and vaginal sample, they were negative for male DNA. Is that correct?
No male DNA was detected.
Thank you. What did you test next?
Then there was the right back of the hand sample, the right palm sample, and 3 samples from the neck, and blood was indicated on each of these samples. From each of these samples, there was a full profile attributable to Christine Banfield. However, there was nothing different from Christine Banfield. For the right hand samples, the back of the hand and the palm, it was possible that male DNA was present. For the 3 neck samples, no male DNA was detected.
Looking then at the fingernail clippings, what did you learn from your testing?
Blood was indicated in a sample of the right hand fingernail clippings and in a sample of the left hand fingernail clippings. And I developed a DNA profile, and the profile that I developed from these samples, there was a full profile attributable to Christine Banfield. There was nothing different from Christine Banfield. However, it was possible that male DNA was present in these 2 samples.
Thank you. Did you also test head hair, pubic combings?
No.
Okay. You then turned to the physical evidence recovery kit from Joseph Ryan, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And what item from that kit did you test first?
I tested them contemporaneous in time, but listed in the report is the genital penis sample. No blood was observed on this sample. And I developed full profiles that were attributable to Joseph Ryan. There was nothing foreign to Joseph Ryan.
From the genital penis sample?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. You then have reported on his right backhand, left backhand, right palm, and left palm. Is that correct?
Yes.
Before.
And what was determined from that testing?
Blood was indicated on each of those samples. There was a full profile attributable to Joseph Ryan in each of those samples. And then from each, the same profile different from Joseph Ryan was detected, and Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of the different profile. Juliana Perez-Migueles and Brendan Banfield were eliminated as contributors of the different profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile different from the hand samples of Joseph Ryan is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
And Joseph Ryan's fingernail clippings?
Yes, blood was indicated on the right hand fingernail clipping sample and on the left hand fingernail clipping sample. And I developed a full profile from each of these samples attributable to Joseph Ryan, and the same profile different from Joseph Ryan was developed from each of these samples. And Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of the different profile. Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez-Migueles were eliminated as contributors of the different profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the different profile developed from each of the fingernail samples from Joseph Ryan is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
Thank you. Going to direct your attention to what's been previously admitted as Commonwealth's 119. And this was a photograph at the scene of the crime of what I believe you tested as item 39, swab of stain on wall. You were also given what was photographed in Commonwealth's Exhibit 112, previously admitted. Items 42 and 43, swabs of stains from the carpet, and specifically from the carpet in front of the laundry basket. Now, tell us about your testing on these 3 swabs.
Blood was indicated on each of the swabs, and I developed the same DNA profile from each of the swabs. Joseph Ryan could not be eliminated as a contributor of the profile. The other 3 individuals were eliminated as a contributor of the profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual who the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed from these 3 swabs is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
Okay, so that's Joseph Ryan's blood on the wall and these 2 locations on the carpet, is that correct?
He can't be eliminated as a contributor, yes.
Thank you. I'd like to show you what was previously admitted as, one moment, Commonwealth's 120. This photograph in evidence was for item 41, the swab of stain from the front of the laundry basket. What testing did you perform there?
I conducted the blood testing, and blood was indicated, and a DNA mixture profile was developed, and Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan could not be eliminated as contributors to that mixture profile. Juliana Perez-Migueles and Brendan Banfield were eliminated as contributors to the mixture profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual who would be included as a contributor to this mixture profile is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
All right, so that's Christine and Joe cannot be eliminated from this side of the basket, is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Turning to Commonwealth's previously admitted 121, the photograph that shows us a different angle of the basket, you tested a swab from the side of the laundry basket as item 56, is that correct?
It is.
And what profiles were present there?
Blood was indicated, and I developed a DNA profile. Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of the profile. The other 3 individuals were eliminated as a contributor of the profile. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed from this stain swab is 1 in greater than 7.2 billion in each of the population groups.
All right, I'm going to ask you to take a look at Commonwealth's 103, previously admitted. Here we have the side of a bed frame. You were provided with a swab of a substance from that bed frame as item 71. Again, what did your test reveal?
Blood was indicated, and a DNA mixture profile was developed. Juliana Perez-Migueles and Brendan Banfield were eliminated as the contributors to the mixture profile. And for this mixture profile, I referred the data to another analyst for evaluation of the profile with specialized software and for conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan and any statistics if applicable.
Thank you. This time, I'm going to have you take a look at Commonwealth's 161, a certificate of analysis from July 17th, 2023, and I would offer this into evidence as Commonwealth's 161.
Any objection? 161 in evidence.
All right, so this one's a little different. Tell us, what is Y chromosome testing?
Y chromosome testing is a male-specific test, and it examines regions on the Y chromosome.
Why was that manner of testing employed in this case?
In my previous report, I had indicated that there were samples where it was possible that male DNA was present and that Y chromosome testing could be done, and that request was made for me to do that testing. And the Y chromosome testing can be useful in situations where larger amounts of female DNA are mixed with smaller amounts of male DNA, such that with the routine test, I either don't get any information from the male component or I get limited information that I can't use for comparison. So the advantage of the Y chromosome test is that it will ignore the female DNA and it just examines regions on the Y chromosome, which is found only in males. The disadvantage is that it's not as discriminating as the routine test. There's less diversity, and with this test, males in the same paternal line would be expected to have the same Y chromosome DNA profile.
Okay, so using this alternative method of testing, what did you learn from the knife?
First, I want to mention that For the known samples from Brendan Banfield and from Joseph Ryan, I developed Y chromosome DNA profiles that I used for comparison to the evidence profiles developed.
Thank you. And did you compare those profiles to the profile developed from the knife?
Yes, I developed Y chromosome DNA types from the sample that I recovered from the sharp edge of the blade. However, these types were not suitable for comparison because of the limited information obtained.
Okay. And then you took a look at the perk from Christine Banfield again, and specifically the fingernail clippings?
Yes.
Did that reveal any information?
So for the right hand fingernail clippings, a Y chromosome DNA mixture profile originating from more than one male was developed, and Brandon Banfield was eliminated as a contributor to this Y chromosome DNA mixture profile. Because my laboratory does not have a method to use to calculate statistics for this type of Y chromosome mixture profile, I'm not offering any conclusions with respect to Joseph Ryan. For the left-hand fingernail clippings from Christine Banfield, a Y chromosome DNA mixture profile originating from more than one male was developed. However, this mixture profile was not suitable for comparison due to the unknown number of contributors.
All right, and then turning to her right breast, and left back hand samples?
Yes. So Y chromosome DNA mixture profiles originating from more than one male were developed from each of these samples, and there's insufficient information to draw a conclusion with respect to Brendan Banfield as a contributor to these Y chromosome DNA mixture profiles. And again, with these mixture profiles, because my laboratory doesn't have a method in use for calculating statistics for this kind of a Y chromosome mixture profile, I'm not offering any conclusions with respect to Joseph Ryan.
Were you able to reach any conclusions for the right backhand and left palm sample?
Yes, Y chromosome DNA mixture profiles were developed, and I developed the same major Y chromosome DNA profile from each of these samples. And a major profile means that one of the contributors is contributing more of their DNA relative to the other, such that that profile can be clearly and easily determined. So Joseph Ryan could not be eliminated as a contributor of the major Y chromosome DNA profile developed from these two samples, nor could any of his male relatives in his paternal line. Brendan Banfield was eliminated as a contributor of the major profile developed from these two samples. And I followed there's a particular procedure for calculating the statistics for the Y chromosome, and it ultimately resulted in a frequency for the major Y chromosome DNA profile of approximately 1 in 2,800 male individuals in the Caucasian population, 1 in 2,300 male individuals in the African American population, and 1 in 2,000 male individuals in the Hispanic population. For the minor profiles, they weren't suitable for comparison, either due to the limited information obtained or to the complex nature.
Okay, and you looked at the right palm sample, but that one was not suitable for comparison, is that correct?
That's right, that was due to the complex nature and the limited information obtained. It was a DNA mixture, a Y chromosome DNA mixture profile that was developed from that sample.
Okay. We'll turn to what's being marked as Commonwealth's 162, Certificate of Analysis from February 5th, 2024.
Yes.
To offer that into evidence at this time as Commonwealth's 162.
Any objection?
Okay.
162.
All right, do you recognize this document?
I do.
All right, and Judge, I'd ask it be published if it has not yet already.
It is.
All right. Gonna try to move through this one a little bit more quickly because it wasn't as interesting, I think, for us. The swab of the cartridge casings did not present enough DNA for there to be testing. Is that correct?
That's correct. For the item 75 swab of the cartridge case, no blood was observed. For item 76, no blood was indicated. And then for this type of sample, which is called a DNA trace sample or a DNA touch sample, my laboratory has done a study and we've determined a threshold of DNA that must be present in order to proceed with the testing, because we know if we don't have that threshold met, we don't get useful results. And these two samples did not meet the threshold, so DNA analysis was discontinued.
All right, and the testing from Mr. Banfield's hand swabs, what did that reveal?
No blood was indicated on the right-hand swab or the left-hand swab. From the right-hand swab, a full profile attributable to Brendan Banfield was detected, and there was a profile different from Brendan Banfield, but it was of no value due to the unknown number of contributors and the limited information obtained. For the left-hand sample, a full profile attributable to Brendan Banfield was detected, and there was a mixture profile different from Brendan Banfield detected. And Juliana Perez Megales and Joseph Ryan were eliminated as contributors to a different profile. For this profile, I'm not offering conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield, and that was due to laboratory resource management considerations. It would involve the software, and it didn't appear to me that it was particularly probative. However, if requested, that statistical analysis could have been done.
Okay, but we didn't dig into this, and were you aware that Mr. Banfield was permitted to wash his hands prior to the collection of these swabs?
I believe I was told that, yes.
Okay, and would that have affected your testing?
The washing could remove blood and DNA.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to direct you to Commonwealth's 131, previously admitted. All right, this photograph is of Mr. Banfield's coat, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the testing that you did on this item. You reported in your certificate that there were several testing locations. Are those locations marked on this photograph?
Most of them are. The only ones that aren't are the general swabbings that I made of the exterior of the left sleeve, the front and the rear, from about midway to the top of the sleeve.
Okay, so if we dig into your report then, can we talk about your testing of each of the areas on the coat? What did your testing reveal?
Yes, I was requested to examine the exterior back of the coat and the exterior of the sleeves, except for the cuff areas for blood and DNA. On the exterior back of the right sleeve, there were 2 red-brown stained areas, and blood was indicated in each of these areas. And I arbitrarily designated one as A and the other as B. And I developed DNA mixture profiles from each of these stained areas. And Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Megales were each eliminated as contributors to those mixture profiles. I referred the data from the mixture profile from stained area A to another analyst for analysis with the software for conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan and any statistics, if applicable. For stained area B, for that stained area, I'm not sure if I mentioned that Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Megales were each eliminated as contributors to that profile. I'm not offering any conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan, and that's because it was an approximately equivalent profile to stained area A, and to conserve lab resources and prevent redundancy, I'm not offering conclusions.
All right, what other areas of the jacket did you test?
There was an area on the exterior rear, the lower left side, and an area on the exterior rear on the upper left shoulder area. And these were discolored areas, and the blood tests were inconclusive for each of these areas. I developed DNA mixture profiles from each area. Joseph Ryan was eliminated as a contributor to each of these mixture profiles. For the mixture profile developed from the exterior and the lower left side, I referred the data for that mixture profile to another analyst for conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield, Brendan Banfield, and Juliana Perez Migueles using the statistical software. For the area on the upper left shoulder area on the left side, that was an approximately equivalent mixture profile. So to avoid redundancy, I did not refer that mixture profile for further analysis, and I'm not offering any conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield, Brendan Banfield, or Juliana Perez Migueles.
All right.
There were 3 additional areas that I tested.
Oh, I'm sorry, keep going, more coat.
Yeah. On the exterior rear, the lower right side, and on the exterior front of the left sleeve and the exterior back of the left sleeve from midway to the top of the sleeve, blood was indicated in each of those 3 samples. And I did develop DNA mixture profiles. However, none of them were suitable for comparison due to the unknown number of contributors and the complex nature.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to have you take a look at Commonwealth's previously admitted 139, and we'll scroll through to 142. Do you recognize these items?
I do.
Go back one. What was the result of the testing on the shoes of Juliana identified in your lab?
There were 16 stained areas across both of the shoes on the exterior bottoms and on the exterior lower front, rear, and back sides. Blood was indicated in each of those 16 areas. I developed DNA mixture profiles from each of those areas. 5 of them were not suitable for comparison due to the unknown number of contributors and the complexity. For the remaining 11, a major profile was developed, and Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of the major profile developed, and the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the major profile developed from these 11 stained areas is 1 in approximately 7.2 billion in each of the 3 population groups. For 8 of the 11 areas, Juliana Perez Migueles, Brendan Banfield, and Joseph Ryan are eliminated as contributors of the major profiles. However, the minor profiles were not suitable for comparison, either due to the limited information obtained or to the complex nature. For the remaining 3, for 1, Juliana Perez Migueles, Brendan Banfield, and Joseph Ryan were eliminated from the mixtures as a whole. For the remaining 2, Joseph Ryan and Juliana Perez Migueles were eliminated as contributors of the mixture profiles as a whole, and I'm not offering conclusions with respect to Brendan Banfield and those mixture profiles, and that was due to laboratory resource management reasons.
Okay, let's take a look at what I would like to offer as, here we go, Commonwealth's 164, Certificate of Laboratory Analysis from June 10th, 2024.
Any objection to 164? All right, 164 in evidence.
Thank you. All right, the testing just keeps coming. In this particular instance, you tested item 24, the fitted sheet. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, this is the sheet from the primary bedroom. Is that your understanding?
It is.
What were the results of your testing, this time for blood, right?
Yes, I was asked to test a specific red-brown area. It was on the exterior of one of the corners, and blood was indicated in the sample, and I developed a DNA mixture profile. Brendan Banfield and Juliana Perez Migueles were eliminated as contributors to the mixture profile, and I referred the data for this mixture profile to another analyst for evaluation with this specialized software and for conclusions with respect to Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan and any statistics if applicable.
Okay. Item 118, the sneaker insert from the tennis shoe of Juliana. This time you were testing not the outside of the shoe, but rather the inside. Is that correct?
I was asked to test the staining on the left sneaker insert.
All right, I'm going to direct your attention to Commonwealth's 143, previously admitted, just so we can see what you're talking about. Was this the object that you tested?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the results.
There are two red-brown stained areas. One is within that circle that you see on the screen, and another area above, the staining above that area. And blood was indicated in each of those areas. And DNA mixture profiles were developed with the same major profile, and Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor as a major contributor to those mixture profiles. The other three individuals were eliminated as major contributors to the mixture profiles. And the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the major profile developed from these two areas from the insert is 1 in greater than 8.1 billion in each of the three population groups. My laboratory had undergone a revision of its manuals, and the approximation of the world population had been updated from 7.2 to 8.1. The minor profiles developed from each of these areas were not suitable for comparison due to the limited information, or I'm sorry, I believe it's for the complex nature of the information.
Thank you. I'm going to direct your attention to Commonwealth's previous exhibits 134, 135, and 136. So here's 134, 135, 136, and we'll start back with 135. These are Brendan Banfield's genes, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and looking at this photograph, we have a close-up of 5 spots. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Did you test those spots individually?
I did.
And how did you identify those spots in your testing?
Well, I was directed to examine these 5 stains and an additional 6 stain on the rear of the jeans near the waistband. And I labeled them from top to bottom. I designated them A, B, C, D, and E.
Okay, and so that would be, if you see my cursor, A, B, C, D, and E. Is that accurate?
Right, for the area on the exterior front of the right pant leg.
Okay, and then we had this spot on the back, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that was tested as well?
Yes.
Okay, and what did your testing reveal?
Blood was indicated in each of the stains. I developed 4 single source profiles. It was the same single source profile. From the remaining 2 areas, I developed mixtures with the same major profile, which was also the same profile as the single source profile developed from the 4 previous stains. And Christine Banfield could not be eliminated as a contributor of this profile, and the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed is 1 in greater than 8.1 billion in each of the 3 population groups. The other 3 individuals were eliminated as contributors to this profile. For the 2 areas where there were mixtures, the minor profiles were not suitable for comparison due to the limited information obtained.
Okay, so let's talk about this for just a second, because we have 5 blood droplets, for lack of a better description, and you're telling us that you found a major profile and that was Christine Banfield, or that she could not be eliminated, but you did find a minor profile. Were you surprised to find a minor contributor here to these seemingly singular drops of blood?
The minor profiles were very limited. The testing is sensitive, so it's not unusual to see that. And in order to test these, they were so small and they weren't absorbing well onto a swab. I actually had to cut through the material, so there could have been some trace DNA on the interior of the pants that I might be detecting.
All right, because these pants were on someone when they were collected, correct? To your knowledge?
That would be my understanding, yes.
Okay. I'm going to direct your attention to Commonwealth's previously admitted 125. Do you recognize this photo?
I do.
Okay. And this is Joseph Ryan's backpack, is that correct?
Correct.
Does the circle mark the area from which you drew your samples?
That was the area that I was asked to test, and I took a representative sample of the red-brown staining, and blood was indicated. And Joseph Ryan couldn't be eliminated as a contributor of the profile that I developed from this stained area. The other 3 individuals were eliminated as contributors to this DNA profile, and the probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with a DNA profile matching the profile developed from the stained area on the backpack is 1 and greater than 8.1 billion in each of the 3 population groups.
All right. I believe you had 1 additional sheet, but that did not indicate any positive profiles, or there were not any profiles developed from the items that were tested. In that case, the over-the-ear hearing protection, Juliana's socks, and the stained swab from the Hyundai. Is that correct?
From the socks, I developed profiles, mixture profiles, but they weren't suitable for comparison due to the complexity and/or the complex nature. For the over-the-ear hearing protection, I collected a sample from the ear cushions, but that profile did not meet the quantitation threshold in order to continue the testing, so DNA analysis was discontinued.
Okay, and we'll just go ahead and make sure that everyone has everything. That's what would be Commonwealth's 163, the Certificate of Laboratory Analysis from April 2nd, 2024, offered in evidence.
Any objection? All right, in evidence.
All right, I believe I do not have any further questions. Doctor, thank you so much. I'm sorry, Ms. Colombo, thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate your answer any questions that Mr. Carroll might have for you.
The short of this.
Do that after afternoon break.
Okay.
Let's go
We get an
ahead and take our
afternoon break.
15-minute break. Please do not discuss the case and do not do any outside research, okay?
All right, the short of this, all this testimony is that none of the blood belonged to Juliana or to Brendan. All the blood belonged to Christine and Joe. The blood on the blade of the knife, that was Christine's. The blood on the handle could have been a mixture with Joe's. That's it. There's blood everywhere. There's blood all over the place. It's all their blood everywhere. I don't think that tells much more of the story. That they didn't get fingerprints. They can't
Since you're
get
still on the stand,
DNA.
please do not discuss your testimony with anybody to include the prosecutors at this point, okay?
Thank you.
We'll be back. Let's come back at 3:45.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, 3:45.
All rise.
All right. That's all that's happened so far. There was a lot of testimony that way. What about the fingerprints on the knife? They were inconclusive. I'm sorry, you're hearing voices in the background. That's because my brand manager is talking to me, and I'm ignoring them. I'm sorry. Yes, I do have a second channel. It's Top Mark Media. I think we're going to stay on Recovery Addict for this weekend for the Friday and Saturday streams because this court is not going to be. Oh, I've got a whole bunch of boxes here. Anyway, we've got the DNA did not include the DNA evidence. The jury would wonder why it was excluded if it didn't, right? But they basically said what they had. They said, this is what we've got, and it's not a lot, but all we can say is that Joe had blood there and Christine had blood there. Well, those are the 2 victims that died. It makes sense. It's messed up all over the place. I think what would have been more helpful is if we got some crime scene analysis of blood splatter and blood spatter, directional. If we say, hey, we see smears of blood on Joe, and then we see drops of blood that fell straight on his pants down. This would have been added after he's dead. That sort of testimony, which might come later in the trial, would be more helpful. That would paint a picture of what actually happened at the crime scene and how it got there. But let's see. I'm thinking they did lots of staging between 911 calls. It was probably hurried, but at the same time, they were trying to get everything done according to plan. What other case did the judge have? She looks familiar. A little one called, I'm not sure if you heard about it. It's Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. No reason for you to know that one. It was a big, big trial. And she's great. She's an amazing judge. All right, any more questions? Hello, manager. I thought I was having a one-on-one meeting with my brand manager, and they threw us into a meeting with 160 other people, and it's a PowerPoint presentation. I have to wait till the end so I can talk to them and say this time zone. Time does not work for me. P. Will, you've got some questions. Ask your mom. Ask your mom. It was a great trial. It was fantastic. It was really a trial that started a lot of what is now LawTube. I mean, Rob started there from Law and Lumber, from that Johnny Depp trial. Let's see. They had plenty of time to clean up and stage between the 911 calls, not surprised by the results. They had to render aid to Christine. That would have mangled the scene. You know what struck me from this picture? We got a long view of a very bloody knife. Brendan was actually upset about the knife that Joe was bringing, because Joe brought that knife. We see a picture. He texted it to Christine, supposedly, before saying, I'm so excited about that. The big day's coming. He was upset about the knife. He wanted it pointy. He wanted a stabby knife, not a cutty knife. But no, Joe brought a cutting knife, a kitchen knife for chopping vegetables, not for stabbing something to death. And Brendan's plan involved stabbing, which would indicate that if he was stabbing with that knife, if you look at it, it has like a curve to it, right? The front of it has this curve. All this part on the curve is not sharp. It's only sharp on the flat part on the bottom. So stabbing would have to be at an awkward angle, which would explain why there were so many cuts instead of just stabs. Very disturbing, though. But he was probably very frustrated that the tool was not exactly what he wanted, as he had planned all the details of this out, allegedly. Let's see. That was a bad knife for something. Terrible, terrible. Great for the kitchen. I got Mrs. R.A. one. She loves it. But no points. That's what the au pair said. He held the knife oddly. He would have had to because of the type of knife it had. Let's see. Crocodile Dundee is rolling over in his grave. That's not a knife. This is a knife. I found Rob from Law and Lumber from his demonstration with the bed. Right. This trial also has it. We heard it. I think it was earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. We heard a little bit of testimony that there was, in fact, something to do with the bed on this one that was chipped, or the fiber was coming apart. Part of the bed was weak, or was broken, or could easily be broken. So it's interesting that two big trials with the same judge, a chipped bed comes into the case. All right, P. Will, you're gonna get in trouble. Let's see. The defendant may be competing with the dev himself. Tina Powers, I wish the DNA was clearer. I will say it was helpful for the prosecutor at the end to summarize and say, so you're telling me that we had Joe and Christina's blood on the knife, and Joe. I loved that. That's basically what it is. I wish we could do all of DNA like that. I know that some of you are just like DNA aficionados. I don't know. You love the purity of the DNA testimony. You want to hear the world pop. You want the octillion. How many zeros is that? That's a lot of fun. But it's the end of the day, sometimes we just need to know whose blood ended up where. And if you can say that one in the world, like 1.7 billion or whatever, I don't even know what the number is, that's the odds of this being, somebody else, just tell us it's that person. And she sort of did. She said, yeah, you can use the term match. We use one in world pop, but match it's synonymous. So I like that. Let's see. Whose shoes? The shoes that we saw, the tennis shoes, the women's shoes, those belong to Juliana. Remember, she had her shoes on before she went to get the safe. Joe told her to take her shoes off, probably because there was blood on them. And the story wouldn't work very well if she traipsed blood into the safe and back out. If she was trying to say, we're I got the gun from the safe. Or if that's his story, he's going to tell him she ran and grabbed the gun from the safe. Why would she need to get the gun from the safe after she's walked in blood? So I don't know. That's how I put it together. They can't say for certainty. They don't compare the entire strand. I understand. There's that possibility. So you're saying there's a chance, right? From Dumb and Dumber. But it's so slim that, you know, it's theoretical only. All right. My dog stepped on a bee. Thank you, Amber. ACs. Hopefully defense has no cross. I don't think there's going to be a ton unless they're just going to reiterate whose blood was on there and whose wasn't, right? Because this might be the best thing that defense can say. So the defendant didn't have his DNA all over that knife handle? No, it was just Joe's and Christine's. Interesting. That's the sort of thing they might try to draw out, but there's not a lot that the defense can use to support their cause in this. It's just the lack of evidence that's the most helpful to them. Rob is doing his channel. He said he's just been busy with real life, with court. He is a full-time lawyer after all, and I think he'll be talking about this case. I'm not sure if he's doing an FNF this week or not. I'd love to hear it if he is. But he doesn't have the luxury of being able to do this all day, every day. He does actually have clients and a law practice that he needs to maintain. So I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing with him. Obviously, he does well there. All right. The real question is, what happens if there's a murder case with twins? The only one of the twins did the murder and the other is innocent. I don't know if that's... Have we ever come across a twins case? I can't think of one that we followed where we had twins, where it's like, oh, by the way, it could be somebody else because he has an identical twin. I haven't heard of that case yet. There's probably one out there. I guess we have to get to that situation before we figure it out. Then it will come to alibis, right? The other guy has an alibi. They're not going to... I doubt the twins are going to tell the same story and both point the finger at the other person. I miss FNF. It's good times. Runkle says it'll be February when he's back. All right, cool. That would be about the end of this case. Okay, let's see. All right, podcast tonight. Yes, Betty, we're doing the podcast tonight for sure. 8 o'clock right here on this channel. It's funny because my YouTube people are challenging me to take my channel to the next level, and they've encouraged us that if in this program that I'm part of now, if I can make 10 live streams in like a 3-week period, then I will have achieved the goal, and they'll send me some swag. I'm super excited about the swag, honestly. Send me something with YouTube's logo on it. I'm a big fan of that. A free shirt. I'm like, I do that in a week. And I'm looking at all the other channels they've grouped me with, and we have more subscribers than everyone else combined in this class. I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the right class. I don't want to raise my hand and like do the humble brag. I do want to grow my channel, but yeah. Anyway, totally doable. I told them I'm on board. I'm going to nail this one. Do 10 a week. I think they want me to do something with memberships though. So I'll see what it is they wanted. All right. I think we've done 1,700 live streams in the last 3 years. I basically already won, Katrina Bunny. Thank you. Sandra Birchmore is a twin case. Okay. I don't recall that one off the top of my head. The name's obviously familiar. I'm not sure if we followed that. All right. Let's see. I do have a goal, just so I'll let you know. I do have a goal of growing the memberships on the channel, bringing more people into this family. The memberships are what makes it so that I know that next month I'll be able to do this as well, because ad revenue is up and down, depends on, what days when we court hop, we don't pay the bills. That's the fact of the matter. When we court hop, we don't pay the bills. The only way the bills get paid is when we have big cases to follow. So it means that from basically Thanksgiving till about now, there are very skinny times on the channel. So anyway, I'm going to learn about doing more to make it wonderful for somebody to be a member. So hopefully I can improve the quality of the channel that way. Meanwhile, let's see. Red Pen, that's what it boils down to in summary. Thank you. I love the big cases and Festivus, says Judy. Thank you. Laura Lee Annie, already. Boom. Ask and you shall receive. Thank you for your generosity. 5 new people just became members. Thanks to you, Laura Lee Annie. You're wonderful. Twin brothers of the suspects in Center Birchmore, Massachusetts. Turned out Matthew killed her thinking the baby was his, and it was, oh my goodness. So I did not follow that case for sure. But interesting. Interesting. Bug Dugger starts the train. Choo-choo. Corey Richards is coming up. We have big trials this year. We have some amazing trials that are going to be just epic, that are going to be plenty of drama, like the good drama, not the bad drama. We don't want the drama in chat. We want the drama in the courtroom. We've got those coming up. We're going to be starting a case tomorrow on a speed catch-up that has a lot of drama in it that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. We're going to be doing that on the weekends. I don't know, maybe even evenings. Who needs sleep, right? We could just make it a 24/7 channel. But we're going to bring some stuff. I like to bring you entertainment. I know some of you watch this this channel and watch court in general to sort of get a reprieve from some of the pressures of life and the heavy things that weigh on the soul. And I want to bring that for you. So thank you very much, Bug Dugger, for the super chat. Laura Lee Annie, also 15 months. I'm often lurking, and I love everyone here. Let's help with the memberships. You're doing great. You guys are amazing. I was hoping, the idea was we want to bring some new people to the channel and that they would want to join. That's what I have in mind. So if you can't be a member, just like the stream. That's free. That's all we ask, 100%. AC's Wildflower gifted a membership as well. Thank you, AC's. Appreciate that. What time is the judge coming back? Because I'm trying to listen to my brand manager and you guys at the same time. I'm sorry. This is probably the worst content ever. Proof that men actually can't focus on 2 things at once. If the game's on, we're not hearing what you're saying. That's the fact of the matter. AC's, thank you very much. Judy, your hair is long, looking fantastic. My hair is curling about my ears. I have to comb it 2 or 3 times around my head. It's so long now that it's now going to become a crucial part of my weight loss program when I get it cut, which is going to be soon, actually. So we actually got new clippers just for that reason. Mrs. R.A. is going to do it. Lois, thank you very much for also gifting a membership. That one went to the one with car problems. That could be all of us. I love the name, though, the one with car problems. She takes 15-minute breaks, very punctual. Let's see. I want to hear R.A. in court second. You get a little bit of that. Jackie gifted Insight Gamer Guy a membership. Thank you, Insight Gamer Guy, for being here. And Jackie, thanks for being generous with your gifts. Magistrange, quit drinking on my birthday last year. Already working out as a weight loss program. That is wonderful. We're gonna celebrate that as well. Trying to grow my hair out once again. I had Runkle hair once. Oh man, that's between Runkle and the lawyer. The law tube hair has been represented adequately. I mean, Runkle's basically Gandalf of law tube, and Peter's Fabio. So, Katie Bug gifted a membership. Thank you. And Unruly Julia gifted 5 memberships. You're amazing. This is an amazing chat, says Monsters Mom. Love it here. You're always so nice to all. The truth is we found that we have more things in common with each other than we have differences. And if we focus on what we have in common, we can enjoy something together, and it just makes a great community. So it's wonderful. Thanks for adding to that. Except for Greeners. We just keep him around for comedic relief. All right. Excuse you, Runkle is Legolas. Okay, I understand the elf, but he's got more like mystical powers than Legolas does. Kelly H gifted a membership. Thank you. Christina gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Cody says, I'll be the night shift host. We might have to tap some of you on the shoulder for these weekend things, see if we can do a baby mod setup. I don't know how that's going to work. But She just hung up. They hung up. Bye. Bye. I guess we're done. I feel like I went back to elementary school, and I'm like with my college degree, and looking around the room, and everyone else is in the little desks with the Play-Doh, and I'm standing there with my thesis. It's a weird class to be in. I'm not saying I'm doing everything right, but it was good. Just a little gruntled says, remember when the judge was watching this channel on the bench? Yes, yes, I remember that. We play some audio from that frequently. As a matter of fact, I think it's this one. 9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom. The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case.
That was Judge Schroeder. Now we're getting commentary on the case. That was my commentary he was talking about. Kim, thank you for gifting the 5 memberships. Gabby for Justice gifted a membership as well. You guys are super generous. Lots of memberships going out the door. Thank you. Uncle Runkle's power is snark.
Because we here in Canada hate you and hope for bad things for you because we hate you.
Yes. Like your uncle.
All right, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Here we go. Let's see how long he talks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And I forget, do I call you Dr. Colombo?
No.
Mrs. Colombo?
Miss.
Mrs. Colombo.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions about your lab sheets. We've discussed this before, so I appreciate that. I do have a question, though, regarding transfer DNA. Would you be able to talk about that?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll just give you a factual scenario. If you have the same mixture on someone's hand, and that hand hits someone on a certain part of the body, would you expect transfer in the same identifying amounts from the hand to the body?
So the ability to develop DNA profiles as a result of transfer, it's dependent on a number of unpredictable variables. So if the hand with the stain was still wet, and it was very soon that the contact was made, I would suspect, well, with each transfer, there's a loss of information, but I would expect that sample to transfer.
Okay. Thank you. That's the only question I have.
The only question's about transfer DNA?
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
She is not.
She is not.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you, Ms. Colombo.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your next witness?
Dr. Susan Greenspan, please.
All right, we're going to do a quick pause. We're going to pause here just for a minute. Well, we paused for station identification, just matching up the audio again. We had a little desync issue, so hold, please. We'll get that sorted. 3, 2, 1. Nailed it. Weak questioning, the transfer DNA, that's one we commonly hear. It's sort of like a non-question. It's like a softball pitch. Could it have gotten there some other way? Yes? Okay. A couple of you have mentioned that the writing style, he curls his hand around and writes from the top.
Truthfully in this case under penalty of law. Yes, I do.
Interesting hand positioning. Bug Dugger, thanks for gifting a membership.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Doctor. Could you please state and spell your name for the court record?
Susan Greenspoon. It's Susan, and GREENSPOON.
Thank
I
you.
like how it just
What is your
rolls off the
current
tongue.
occupation and where are you employed?
I'm a forensic molecular biologist at the Virginia Department of Forensic Science.
How long have you been with DFS?
I've been with DFS for over 24 years now.
All right. And did you have employment in the area of forensic testing prior to DFS?
Yes, I worked at the Detroit Police Department Crime Lab for 6 years prior to joining DFS.
Okay. Outside of your formal education, did you receive any training to work at DFS?
Well, I was trained as a DNA examiner at the Detroit Police Department Crime Lab prior to coming to DFS, and so I was a court-qualified DNA examiner. So once I got to DFS, I was already qualified as a DNA examiner, but I did receive additional training for various specialties, such as probabilistic genotype software analysis and other special types of casework activities that I performed at DFS. I did receive additional training for that.
Okay, thank you. What are your responsibilities at the Department of Forensic Science?
My primary responsibilities are to head the research and validation program for the forensic biology unit. I also perform specialized casework such as for probabilistic genotyping and relationship testing statistical analysis. I mentor graduate students primarily through Virginia Commonwealth University master's program, and I help troubleshoot various technical problems that occur in the laboratory, and then also assist the program manager when, on specific kinds of tasks that may need my assistance.
Thank you. Have you ever testified as an expert before?
Yes, I have.
Have you testified in Fairfax County as an expert?
Yes, I have.
Do you know approximately how many times?
I've testified over 60 times, approximately 70 times, I guess.
All right, thank
Over
you.
60,
Judge, at this
around
time,
70.
I would offer Dr. Greenspoon as an expert in the field of forensic science and DNA analysis.
Could you also offer her a tissue?
All right, so move.
Thank you. All right, so we've heard a little bit about DNA testing using the PowerPlex fusion amplification system. You, however, in the testing that you did in this case, used the True Allele casework system. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between PowerPlex and True Allele?
Well, the PowerPlex fusion system is used to generate the DNA profiles. It's used in combination with the PCR thermocycler machine that uses the chemicals and the specific components of the PowerPlex fusion system to generate millions of copies of specific regions of the DNA that vary among people. And that's what we use for human identification analysis. That's what PowerPlex fusion is used for. What the True Allele casework system does is it takes the raw data produced by the instrumentation used to visualize those DNA samples, and it utilizes that data to model forensic casework samples. So it models the DNA mixture samples in such a way that allows it to separate out the DNA profiles for the unknown contributors to that mixture. So if you have multiple contributors to a DNA sample that's a forensic unknown casework sample, a program such as True Allele that performs probabilistic genotyping will propose a model to explain that DNA mixture in terms of the DNA profiles for the contributors to that mixture. So it models it, it proposes a model, it tests that model using probability assessments, and then it changes the model, and then it tests it, and it does this, you know, iteratively, repeatedly for millions of times. And so it does it millions of times, it proposes a model, it tests it to see how well does it explain this mixture, and then it does this over and over and over. And at the end of its analysis, the software program analysis, then it comes up with the most likely DNA profiles for these unknown contributors to this DNA sample.
All right, so in this case, you were provided with items that had been previously tested and resulted in mixture of profiles that you then used TrueAllele to sort out. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. For comparison, what did you receive from the 4 potential individuals in this case from whom you then had to, or from which you then had to develop profiles?
The DNA profiles in this case were developed by Ms. Colombo. She performed all the DNA analysis. She provided electronic data from the instrument itself that the instrument produced when it was visualizing and separating out and visualizing these DNA products, these DNA typing products. So she provided that electronic data to me for analysis for the specific samples that were earmarked for TrueAllele analysis, this TrueAllele casework probabilistic genotyping system. So she provided those to me on or that electronic data to me on a secured server that we all can access in forensic biology around the state. And she also provided copies, hard copies, printed copies of the DNA profiles that she developed, because I'm dealing with the raw data that I upload to the software program, but then she provides with the DNA profiles that she generated. So I have a bigger picture of what's been developed on the DNA testing side in the case.
Okay, so let's turn to what I'm going to display here as Commonwealth's 165. I'd like to offer into evidence at this point in time the certificate of analysis dated June 7th, 2024.
This testing might give us better ideas about whose blood was where instead of the mixture idea.
Reviewing this certificate of analysis, I see that you were comparing buccal samples, or at least the data as you have described that was previously analyzed and produced, shared with you, that resulted in profiles for Brendan Banfield, Juliana Perez-Magalhaes, Christine Banfield, and Joseph Ryan, for comparison with then the sample from the coat from Brendan Banfield. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And what did your testing reveal?
If I can refer to my copy, or well, if you scroll. So
your preference. I can either, I don't know if you can
this
read
is
it.
fine.
Okay.
So I want to just provide a little bit more information about this process, because the TrueAllele casework probabilistic genotyping software program separates out and generates the most likely DNA profiles for these unknown contributors to this mixture. After that work is done, then a comparison is made to reference samples, known DNA profiles for persons of interest. The comparison is, so the probabilistic genotyping system simplifies these mixtures. And then comparisons are made then to the analyzed mixture sample in the form of a likelihood ratio using these reference samples. This report reports the likelihood ratio values. A likelihood ratio compares 2 alternative explanations for the DNA, the forensic DNA sample, the mixture sample, based on this comparison with this reference sample with the person of interest. So the first, the 2 different alternative explanations are that the probability of generating the probability of observing this DNA mixture profile if the person of interest is a contributor, versus the alternate explanation, which is the probability of observing this DNA mixture if somebody else, not that person of interest, is a contributor. So the likelihood ratio can be over 1, and that lends support to the first explanation, or it can be below 1, and that lends support for the alternate explanation.
I don't know why it
So
paused on
the
that.
larger the value, the stronger the support for the first explanation in this case.
All right, so looking at the results that were produced from the testing
Don't touch the mic,
on
please.
Mr. Banfield's jacket, we looked, I believe, the area that was first reported was the testing on the exterior rear lower left side of the coat.
Yes, so on evaluation of the mixture profile, I told the software program that I estimated there to be 3 contributors to this mixture. That was from my human evaluation of this, the DNA profile generated by Ms. Colombo. So assuming the DNA profile that was previously developed from an area on the exterior rear and lower left side
Ms. Colombo
of
didn't
Brendan
assume 3,
Banfield's
though.
coat is a mixture of 3 unknown contributors, then the TrueAllele casework system objectively inferred genotypes solely from these data. So we do perform duplicate analyses. We're required to generate at least 2 concordant analyses that they confirm each other's results. So following these duplicate reproducible analyses, then the computer then compared each inferred contributor genotype to the provided reference genotypes of Brendan Banfield, Juliana Perez Magalhaes, and Christine Banfield relative to the reference populations to compute the likelihood ratio match statistics. So based on these results, Brendan Banfield cannot be eliminated as a contributor to this DNA mixture profile, and the DNA profile developed from an area on the exterior rear lower left side of Brendan Banfield's coat at the Powerplex fusion loci is approximately 21 million times more likely if it originated from Brendan Banfield and 2 unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population than if it originated from 3 unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population. Then it's one
his
billion
DNA was on his
times more
coat.
likely to be observed if it originated from Brendan Banfield and 2 unrelated individuals in the African American population than if it originated from 3 unrelated unknown individuals in the African American population. And then finally, it's 29 million times more likely to be observed if it originated from Brendan Banfield and 2 unrelated unknown individuals in the Hispanic population than if it originated from 3 unrelated unknown individuals in the Hispanic population.
Okay, so if we boil that down, Brendan Banfield is on Brendan Banfield's coat.
Well, there is
She said it so quickly.
statistical DNA and statistical support that for the explanation that Mr. Banfield is on Mr. Banfield's coat.
Okay, but more than that was found, right?
Yes.
And without going into the population and probabilistic information, we saw that the other profiles that were developed were from who?
Well, then similarly, a comparison with this mixture sample was made with
Is she getting paid by the hour or by the word?
well, with Ms. Magalhaes' reference DNA profile. These values wound up being considered, based on our internal validation testing, to be uninformative or inconclusive. They were not large values. And
This is
so these
painful.
values were 310 times more likely.
Okay, so we could identify that Juliana's DNA was inconclusive. We weren't able to necessarily make a match there. Is that fair?
We would state it as it
yes or
was.
no.
It was just uninformative. We can't draw conclusions.
Okay.
As to whether there's support or not for that.
Thank you. How about Christine's DNA?
So for Christine's DNA, the statistics were 18 billion times more likely for this profile to be observed, this DNA mixture profile to be observed if it originated from Christine Banfield and 2 unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population than if it originated from 3 unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population.
So in our mixture, we have most likely Brendan and Christine. Is that accurate?
Just yes or no.
I know I'm dumbing
yes
down
no
the science
question.
here, and I apologize, but to just be as simplified about it as we can.
We would say that the true allele casework probabilistic genotyping analysis provided
the simple
support, statistical support for Christine Banfield and Brendan Banfield to be contributors to this mixture.
All right, and then we looked at the stain A.
Judge, can you order her to answer a yes or no
from
question
the code?
with yes
Is
or
that
no?
correct?
Yes, from of the 2 stain A of the 2 stained areas, approximately midway.
Right, and again, certainly not trying to limit the extensive effort that you put in here to determine the results, but as a summary, whose DNA could not be eliminated from consideration as a contributor to the mixture
Here's your
at
clue.
stain A?
Well, at stain A then, Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan cannot be eliminated as contributors to this stain A.
Did that hurt?
Thank
that was
you.
beautiful.
I'd like to direct your attention to what I will offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 160.
She's like, ma'am,
7?
I know your job's important.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor,
You do a good job.
I confirm that we just did 166?
No, we did 165.
That's what I felt like. Okay.
I just don't want to hear
Thank
about
you,
it
Judge.
right
In
now.
which case, let me look at 166. That is not.
This
what I
woman
want.
would be fantastic at
So I
teaching
am
the
going
college
to jump,
level
Judge, to
course on
Exhibit
DNA.
167.
She'd be great there. Not probably the right person to explain it to a jury.
And if I can
Still don't know what DNA stands for.
take just a step back. All right, we're going to go with 166. Judge, at this time, I would offer Commonwealth's 166 into evidence.
All right, any objection to 166?
Yeah, sorry.
But I think to the
The
top.
other way to the top.
The other top.
Certificate of analysis dated June 17th, 2024.
No objection? Okay, no objection to 166. So 166 is in evidence.
Thank you.
Prosecutors, everybody
Dr.
sucks
Greenspan,
at
do you
numbers.
recognize this document?
Except for the judge.
Yes.
Okay. And here, we are again using true allele to learn more about the blood that was tested by by Ms. Colombo on the fitted sheet from the master bedroom. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Tell us what we learned about the mixture profiles that were present on the sheet in the blood sampled here.
Okay, on the sheet,
Do you need me to scroll back up just a bit?
it's okay, for this, the representative sample from a stained area on the sheet, I estimated there to be 2 contributors to this mixture sample. And so, based on the true allele analysis, Christine Banfield cannot be eliminated as a contributor to this DNA mixture profile. And the DNA profile developed from a representative sample of the stained area on the exterior of one of the corners of the sheet of the Powerplex fusion loci is approximately 12 septillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Christine Banfield and 1 unrelated unknown individual in the Caucasian population than if it originated from 2 unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population. and
This is her short
6.3
version.
octillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Christine Banfield and one unrelated unknown individual in the African American population than if it originated from two unrelated unknown individuals in the African American population, and then 160 septillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Christine Banfield and one unrelated unknown individual in the Hispanic population than if it originated from two unrelated unknown individuals in the Hispanic population.
Okay, and then who was the other contributor?
And then the other individual who cannot be eliminated as a contributor to this mixture was Joseph Ryan, and the values were 530 sextillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Joseph Ryan and one unrelated unknown individual in the Caucasian population than if it originated from two unrelated unknown individuals in the Caucasian population, and 960 septillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Joseph Ryan and one unrelated unknown individual in the African American population than if it originated from two unrelated unknown individuals in the African American population.
She says this like she's summarizing it, but she's saying all the words anyway.
6.1 septillion times more likely to be observed if it originated from Joseph Ryan and one unrelated unknown individual in the Hispanic population than if it originated from two unrelated unknown individuals in the Hispanic population.
Thank you. I'm going to direct your attention to Commonwealth's 167, and before offering that into evidence, just going to scroll down so you can take a look at it. I believe you've had the opportunity to look at it before today, but let me ask you, do you know Lisa Schermeyer-Wood?
Yes, she's a colleague of mine at the Virginia Department of Forensic Science.
Okay, and this document, Commonwealth 167, was this drafted by Lisa Schermeyer-Wood?
Yes, this is her certificate of analysis.
Have you had the opportunity to review it, and are you comfortable reporting her findings to the court?
Yes, I did review her case file prior to coming in here.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Judge, at this time, Commonwealth would offer as Commonwealth's 167, Certificate of Laboratory Analysis dated July 13th, 2023.
Any objection? Okay. All right, 167 in evidence.
All right, thank you. All right, what was tested here? The swab from the stain on the side of the bed frame, is that correct?
And the knife.
And the knife. And what, as I scroll down to a stopping point, were the results of the testing on the mixture profile from the underside of the handle of the knife near the juncture of the blade and the handle?
Okay, and the stain was designated B3, and the estimate was that it's a mixture of two unknown contributors.
And I think we can probably, looking at these numbers, again, we're talking about octillions and septillions. These feel like very convincing numbers to me. Are they pretty strong?
Those are large values, yes.
Okay, so without diving into the values, were you able to determine who the two contributors were here to the stain on the underside of the knife?
Well, the program, True Little Casework, doesn't identify an individual, but it does analyze and compare to the reference profile, and the likelihood ratio generates support from for one explanation or the other. And in this case, the likelihood ratios for both, we lost the report.
Yep, I see that. It's telling me that the battery is running low and it's plugged in.
Okay, so the likelihood ratios generated showed statistical support for the explanation of both Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan as contributors to this stain, or the stain B on the knife handle. B3, sorry, the stain B3 on the knife handle.
Sorry, bear with me here for just a second. I'm just going to go through every possible combination of chords.
The computer took pity on us and said, well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Computer said, no more, no more. Good work, ma'am.
All right. So we established our contributors to the stain on the underside of the knife. How about when we looked at the stain from the swab of the stain from the side of the bed frame?
So, based on the true allele analysis, using the DNA profile data generated by Ms. Colombo, the swab from the side of the bed frame was estimated to be a mixture of 2 people. And based on these results, the true allele casework analysis results, Christine Banfield cannot be eliminated as a contributor to this DNA mixture, and Joseph Ryan also cannot be eliminated as a contributor to this DNA mixture.
Thank you. I want to go back really quick on the knife. We have a mixture, we have contributors. The sample is identified as blood on the underside of the handle near the blade/handle juncture. Can you be certain that the mixture of DNA was extracted from blood and not skin cells?
It could be a combination of blood and skin cells. It could be just blood, since blood was detected. So we can't actually discern that.
Okay, thank you. Judge, I do not believe I have any additional questions for this witness.
All right.
Please answer any questions Mr. Carroll might have.
Cross-examination, do you have any? No questions. All right, is this witness subject to recall?
She is not.
All right. Is she subject to recall, Mr. Carroll? Okay, you're free to go. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, your next witness.
Madeline Crowley.
And there was
Madeline
much
Crowley?
rejoicing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we made it. I do have a song to play for you once this is all over, just in honor of that witness. I'm sorry, you did a great job, ma'am. The work you do is very important. It solves cases, it puts bad people in jail, and it lets good people go free. I'm a big fan of DNA. It's just sometimes
And Your Honor, if I may
wish you
address the
could
court,
do
it
it
has
better.
been my intention before calling the first witness to alert the court to Mr. Carroll has agreed that Mr. Gundekunst is no longer subject to recall.
Okay.
And
all
so
right.
we'd ask he be released.
All right. Is that true? All right. I'll make that notation. It'll be noted on the record.
Thank you.
The fingerprint specialist.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do. Thank you.
The fingerprint specialist from Novaris. Not coming back. Hello, ma'am.
Good afternoon,
We've seen
ma'am.
you
How are you
before.
today?
Good afternoon. I'm good, thank you.
Can you please state and spell your name for the court record?
My name is Madeline Crowley, Madeline
Thank you. What is your current occupation and where are you employed?
I am a senior DNA analyst and a DNA analyst trainer at Bodie Technology.
How long have you been employed at Bodie?
I've been employed for about 7.5 years.
All right. Did you have any experience in analyzing DNA prior to working for Bodie?
No, I began working the year that I graduated, and I graduated with a degree where I learned and had experience in the DNA analysis process.
All right. What are your responsibilities as a DNA analyst for Bodie?
As a DNA analyst, I am responsible for directing and overseeing the in-lab processing of casework samples, analyzing the results, performing comparisons and statistics as needed, documenting the findings in a formal report, and testifying as needed.
Did Bodie have you go through any training programs when you came to work for them?
Yes, Bodie has a very thorough training program that lasts approximately 6 months. I was required to attend lectures, read required readings, observe qualified individuals in each procedure that I was training in. I then was required to complete 3 sets of mock cases from start to finish, meaning from receiving the evidence, doing that in lab processing, doing my interpretations, and writing the reports. These 3 sets, the first was a supervised set where I was observed by a qualified individual. The next was unsupervised, and the last was a competency set where I was to complete all casework independently. After successful completion of these 3 sets, I then was required to take a written exam on theory of procedure, complete a verbal exam on troubleshooting complex scenarios, and participate in a mock trial from one of the cases in my competency set. And I was required to have earned an 80% or higher on all of those exams, and I did satisfactorily and became qualified as an analyst.
Thank you. Have you ever testified as an expert before?
I have.
All right. I'm going to ask at this time that Ms. Crowley be admitted as an expert in DNA analysis.
Any objection? No. All right, so moved.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about Bodie. We've heard from DFS. Is Bodie established here in Virginia?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have they been performing DNA testing?
Since 1995, so about 31 years.
Okay. Are they accredited?
Yes, we are.
All right. Does your lab have a quality assurance process to ensure the reliability of their testing?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, was Bodie Technology given items of evidence to analyze for this case?
Yes, we were.
I'm going to direct you to what is marked as Commonwealth's Exhibit 168, a certificate of analysis from December 21st, 2023. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
All right, Commonwealth would offer that into evidence at this time.
Any objection? All right, 168 in evidence.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to shift for just a second back over to what was previously admitted as Commonwealth's 150, Joe Ryan's jeans. Does this photo accurately depict the items that were received by Bodie for testing?
Yes, it does.
Okay, what areas of this item were sampled?
So within the red-brown staining on the upper right thigh of the jeans, we took 2 samples. We sampled one area within that red-brown staining, and we sampled another area between and around that red-brown staining.
And did you receive samples for comparison?
Yes, we did not receive physical samples to test. We received submitted DNA profiles for comparison.
And what were the results and conclusions from the sample of the jeans leg avoiding staining? So not the red-brown, but the area outside the red-brown.
May I refer, Your Honor, may I refer to my report?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
can switch back over to it, or if you have your own copy. All right, where would you like me to stop?
The number 2.
Page 2?
No, the
Sorry,
number 2 in results.
There you go. I think that gets most of it in there.
Yes. So the DNA profile obtained from, this is the portion avoiding the red-brown staining, is consistent with a mixture of 3 or more individuals with a major mixture component of 2 individuals, including a major male contributor. This deduced major component DNA profile matches the DNA profile provided for Joseph Ryan. The probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with this DNA profile is at least 1 in 180 septillion in the US population. The deduced minor component DNA profile matches the DNA profile for Christine Banfield. The probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with this DNA profile is at least 1 in 83 sextillion in the US population. There were 2 locations that we tested not used in that statistical calculation due to the inability to resolve a minor component. Brendan Banfield and Julia Magalhaes are excluded as possible contributors to the major mixture component DNA profile deduced from the sample listed above. And due to the possibility of allelic dropout, no conclusions can be made on the minor alleles that are not part of the major mixture.
All right, so let's talk really quickly about major and minor. We talked about this on the phone at one point. Does it inherently mean that there is more of the substance being tested, let's say blood, if it's a major contributor, and less DNA in the substance being tested if it's a minor contributor?
So a major contributor is able to be deduced when we have more of that component than the rest of the profile. So yes, being able to pull a major component means that there was more DNA from that component, that individual, in the evidence sample.
Okay, but again, more DNA, not necessarily more blood or...
Correct, more DNA.
Skin cells, more anything. It's specifically, if we were to take a pin dot, it's within that pin dot of matter that you're testing that you see a minor and major contributor. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. You also tested the red-brown staining itself. What were the results of that testing?
The DNA profile obtained is consistent with a mixture of 3 or more individuals with a major mixture component of 2 individuals, including a major male contributor. The deduced major component DNA profile matches the DNA profile provided for Joseph Ryan. The probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with this DNA profile is at least 1 in 180 septillion in the US population. This deduced minor component DNA profile matches the DNA profile provided for Christine Banfield. The probability of randomly selecting an unrelated individual with this DNA profile is at least 1 in 12 sextillion in the US population. And the following loci were not used in the statistical calculation. There were 4 locations not used in this statistical calculation due to the inability to resolve a minor component. Brendan Banfield and Juliana Magelhays are excluded as possible contributors to the major mixture component of that DNA profile. And due to the possibility of allelic dropout, no conclusions can be made on the minor alleles that were not part of that major mixture component.
Thank you. Quick question.
And the jury wrote down nothing.
Do you know why Fairfax County sent this item to your lab, Bodie Technologies, rather than leaving it with DFS?
Specifically for this case, no, we were not informed why they chose to have us process the case. However, this is typical. As we are a private lab, we receive requests from state labs to do processing.
Thank you, Judge. I have no further questions of this witness.
All right, cross-examination. All right, is she subject to recall then?
She is not.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
You have another witness?
Judge, I just have a stipulated document that I'd like to put into evidence.
Okay.
Judge, at this time, I would like to offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 169, a report from DNA Labs International, previously referred to by our witness, Mr. Leach, as DLI, specifically the testing of the zipper, button, and waistband area of the blue jeans from Joseph Ryan, which indicated the presence of DNA from Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan. Brendan Banfield and Juliana were excluded as contributors. The mixture profile was tested using stir mix, and the probabilistic information is contained within the report.
All right, any objection then? All right, 169 is in evidence.
And at that point in time, Judge, the Commonwealth is out of witnesses.
For today.
For today.
Okay. All right, that's fine, ladies and gentlemen. It's 4:30. We can go ahead and break. We're actually going to be breaking until Tuesday now because you don't come tomorrow, so you get the day off. And we will reconvene on Tuesday since Monday is a holiday. Okay, so make sure you are here early on Monday. I am going to read you a few instructions. This is the same instruction I gave you the first day when you were impaneled, just a little longer so we can remember.
She said, make sure you're here early
remember
Monday.
what your obligations are during this weekend. Okay, so you are not to read anything about this case. You are not to watch anything about this case. You are not to listen to anything about this case. This applies to television, newspapers, magazines, the internet, and any online sites. Further, you're not to read, watch, or listen to anything about this case on any social networking site or streaming service. In addition, you must not communicate with anyone about the case, whether in person, over the phone, by email, text, or instant messaging, or by any other electronic or non-electronic means. This includes your fellow jurors, friends, family, co-workers, acquaintances, and strangers. I also instruct you that you cannot do any research or make any inquiries about this case, whether online or by any other means. For example, you cannot look up information up on the internet that is related to this case or related to the persons involved in this case. You cannot do your own type of demonstrations or trying to figure out things on your own. Please don't do that. Nor may you consult dictionaries or other reference materials. What you learn in this case is limited to what you learn in the four walls of this courtroom when proceedings are underway. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand that. Just have a restful weekend. Please take care of yourselves, keep yourselves healthy, and we'll see you on Tuesday, okay? Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Okay.
The last DNA, not the last DNA witness, but the one before her, is deserving of a song. She deserves a song. Madeline was great. We're gonna.
You're gonna get all the electronic files, Ms. Sands, to Shannon, so we can take
We've
those.
already handed over most of them. We have this last batch.
All right.
And you're good to go.
All right, I assume we are still on track.
Judge, I have 2 remaining witnesses. My first witness will take, my guess is probably an hour of my time in direct, and then Mr. Carroll's time in prompts. My
4
second
hours.
witness will then take approximately 15 minutes.
And then we're gonna rest.
And they're both, and at that point in time, I believe we would rest.
You would rest upon after those 2 witnesses. So we are far ahead of schedule, I would say. All right, so then are you prepared for, it sounds like Tuesday afternoon, to be able to put on evidence?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will say this.
Yeah, you need to use the microphone, sir. I know you like to walk around. I apologize.
That I anticipate while hearing their witness, and it's related to one of the motions that we had previously, so they're going to be specific.
Do you want to void the witness outside the presence of the jury?
That might be a good idea.
Okay.
That would be a good
Do you
idea.
want to do that? Is that your first witness on Monday?
It is.
Okay, so maybe when we come in at 10 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call her as a witness first and do the voir dire first. And then after we've resolved whatever, we can bring the jury in then for her, whatever testimony
Is it Monday?
allowed.
Yes, yes,
Does that sound okay?
That sounds great.
And you'll be ready to go for
I'll be ready.
Tuesday afternoon. I'm sorry, not Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday, thank
Tuesday
you.
afternoon.
If Your Honor has told the jury to come at 10, would you prefer to have the witness present early?
No, I don't think the voir dire, at least from the experience I've had so far in this case, I don't think the voir dire will take very long of the witness. So I think we can work that out pretty quickly. So I'd rather them be here on time and they can just stay back there for a few minutes. That's fine. All right? Okay, so, all right, enjoy your weekend then.
Yes, thank you,
We will
Judge.
see you on Tuesday.
All right.
Have a great weekend, y'all. We gone. Okay, stop. We're gonna play a song. We're gonna play a song in honor of that DNA expert. Let's see. I think we want to go through. I want to play it through USB, not through the HDMI. All right. In honor of the DNA expert who we heard. Let's see, Rodecaster Pro Stereo. That's where we're just going to go. Here we go. It's called Your Honor, in my expert opinion.
Your Honor, counsel, members of the jury, I'll answer eventually with a small vocabulary detour. This isn't just DNA, it's a non-exclusionary World Pop representative subset. Yeah, I said World Pop, I meant world population, but in science, we commit to the bit. In my expert opinion, I can confidently say it's a mixture, Your Honor, of biological display. And it's 29 octillion times more likely than if the sample was from 3 unrelated people. Let me repeat that. 29 octillion times more likely than if the sample was from 3 unrelated people. Now when I say mixture, I mean a complex Multi-locus stochastic phenomenon translated to normal human. Two or more folks at the same bad place, same bad time. We deconvolute, recalibrate, simulate, then we put it in a PowerPoint with way too many bullet points. In my expert opinion, I can confidently say, hey, hey, it's a mixture, Your Honor, a biological display. Hey, hey, and it's 29 octillion times more likely than if the sample was from 3 unrelated people. Let me repeat that, 29 octillion times more likely than if the sample was from 3 unrelated people. Counsel asks, so is it his? I say, within a reasonable degree of scientific certainty and assuming the relevant wool-pop parameters. Yes, they blink twice, jury scribbles absolutely nothing. So I wrap it up in plain speech. If this profile were pizza, all the toppings line up with this guy's slice. The lawyer nods, then I have to add, statistically speaking, in the context of the appropriate reference group and considering potential mixture contributors. Judge says, doctor, just answer the question. I say, I did 3 footnotes ago. White, hey! White, hey!
All right, there we go. We've got a little tribute to all the DNA testimony we heard today. It was so funny to hear the prosecution be like, look, ma'am, I know you've got an important job. You're good at your job. We're proud of you. Good job. Please don't tell us about your job. Just tell us the part we need, right? Because we don't want your job. We're not going to take it. And even if you tell us how to do it, we're not going to do it. Just tell us the part we need. And she's like, well, the true allele system. It was awesome. I know a couple of you might be a little bit offended because this is your jam, right? The DNA is your jam. I love it as well. I can follow all this now thanks to great people like the people we had today testifying. We have to poke a little fun at them because I went through a couple versions of that, and some of them just have some hilarious lyrics there. Thanks again, once again, to Suno, our good friends in the computer somewhere in the sky. He created that. All right. The important part we took away from today is the judge said that tomorrow and Monday we don't have trial here, but we'll be here. We're going to play catch up on another trial, and I'm sort of glad we are because the Mansion murders are going on. The Mansion murders trial are going on, and we're going to do catch up over the weekend, and then this case is approaching the end. The state's going to rest next week. They've got 2 more witnesses. 2 more witnesses. It's supposed to be a 5-week trial. Anyway, so we're expecting most likely deliberation closings next week and a verdict even. So we'll have a trial to jump to, and we'll play catch up on tomorrow. We're going to play catch up Saturday. Yes, I'm working the weekend, and also on Monday we're going to be catching up on that Mansion murders trial. Then we're going to go back to this one. So I know it's going to be a lot to jumble. It's like, which case was this? In my head, it's going to be tough to remember all the witnesses, and I've got 2 storylines. I'm probably going to say the wrong names about the wrong things. What time tomorrow? Probably regular time, about 8:45 in the morning. So yeah, can you give us a synopsis of the other trial? Not yet, because I haven't even listened. All I know is that a brother attacked, allegedly, his brother, business partners. Families in business never works well. But one brother attacked the other brother and killed him and his wife and his 2 kids. And it was over money, allegedly. Allegedly he did that, and allegedly it was over money. So that's the brother trial. It's also known as the Mansion murders. They had a bit of money. I mean, there were $1 million homes involved. It became crime scenes. So that's up in New Jersey. We'll be watching that tomorrow and playing catch up. I realize some of you have been watching that, and it's the reason why I like it is because there is a lot of drama. There are personalities, strong personalities between witnesses and defense, and that to me makes it for exciting, spicy court watching. All right. Harley's birthday. Wonderful, wonderful. She loved the song we sang to her. That's great. I'd slap together a thumbnail for that one. Thank you, Red. You're absolutely amazing. Love what you do. I'll watch for the link. Let's see. Nothing like sibling love. Yeah. Throw a couple $1 million in the mix, and who knows what's going to happen. All right, that brings us to the end of the day. There's not a lot of synopsis to go over other than, Regina Adams, thanks for your gift. 5 memberships. You guys have been super generous with the gifts on the memberships today, and that means the world to me. I appreciate that. We have, I was looking for my notes. Just one second. We're all the way up to witness 16. 16. I was supposed to open some packages on the air. I've got 3 packages to open. Madeline Crowley, DNA analyst, was the last one. Susan Greenspoon was before her. That's the one who made the song in honor of. Sorry, Susan. Did a great job. Love you. Catherine Colombo, DNA expert before her. We had Carla McCarthy before that. She was a firearm and tool marks, who told us all about how bullets work and how she could track the bullets to the gun. Before that, we had the Amy Shotwell, we had Douglas Gundekunst, who was the fingerprint guy, who I guess is not coming back. We thought we were going to bring him back. Before that, we had Amy Shotwell from the gun range and the gun sale, told us a little bit about that. Matthew Niederreiter, who was the window seller, the window seller, who tried to sell all of us new sets of windows, and we almost bought. And I think that was today. That's how today began, with the window seller. So, is that right? No. Today began actually with, before that we had Terry Leach, who was the Major Crimes, the Pharaoh Scan of the House, McDonald's video. Before that we had Detective Owen J. Falk IV, who took a break from playing with Owen J. Falk V to come in and testify out of retirement about photos of the phones in Joe's car's front seat, 2 pictures, and he was gone. And then before that we had Kenner Fortner, who was the Fairfax County Police Sergeant, took the photos of the clothes, the au pair moved, bedrooms, everything. He told us about that. So Kenner Fortner was the morning. Thank you very much, Red Pen, for that. So we got a lot of witnesses all the way. We got 7 to 16. So 9 witnesses today. But we're going to be starting the Mansion trial day 1 tomorrow. And we'll ask for, we'll try to keep spoilers to a minimum. I know a lot of people have watched that or have seen parts of it or seen synopsises of it. We will be doing probably 1.25 speed as long as as long as the clarity is there. We can follow the message. We're going to be skipping the breaks and lunch breaks and everything. So pack a lunch, eat at your desks. We're going to be plowing through this. We might even start about 8:30 tomorrow if that's all right. So tonight, podcast, 8 p.m. I haven't built the portal over to it, but please know that the once a week we take a break from all this true crime and we just kick back and have fun. It's just a group of us friends, all of us together, just having a good time talking about some of the funny stories that came out in the world, funny experiences we've had. I might tell you my fishing story about how I got a scar in my finger. It involves a fish. I might not tell that one. It hurts so bad. It hurts just thinking about it. I don't know why, but I'm like a lot of years older than I was when this happened. I was a Boy Scout when that happened. And it hurts now for some reason. Like my scar hurts. Why does a scar hurt, I don't know, 30 years later? Somebody tell me that. Are you eating anything weird tonight? It depends what's in these boxes. Oh. My family went to the post office and checked the box. And there was some stuff there, so I'll do a quick little check. I don't know who these are from. I don't know what they are, but I trust them when they comes from Amazon. It looks like 2 of them came from Amazon. My kids hear me open them. They come running in. Ooh, this one's colorful. It's got an Amazon gift bag. Order and return information inside. Keep your gift a surprise. Unwrap your present before opening this envelope. We don't return anything. Whisk Brand, thank you for gifting a membership. Thank you very much. Oh, it's tied. They tied a bow on this. There's a bag within a bag. Beautifully wrapped. I think this is for a cat. Holiday edition tuna recipe. It has a picture of a cat on it. Let me show you. I can't see my switch. That was a knife that just, an unsheathed knife that I just dropped. Barely missed my toes. It says Churu cat treat. This is, my daughter's like, yay. She loves to feed the cats a treat. Thank you, whoever sent that. Churu's kitties love them. I'm gonna move that knife out of the way. It's a letter opener. Did I say knife? Letter opener is what I meant. Not a cat. This one also comes in a gift bag. I have to read what the note said on the bag. I'm sorry. The note on the bag says, "Justice for Kiki from JR 492." Thank you very much. It's a tiny font. I can barely read it. I hope I read it correctly. Justice for Kiki. Feed cats Shuru to disguise their meds. They love it that much. Wow. This one also comes wrapped. This one has a tag as well that says, also from JR, Justice for Kiki as well. So the cat, oh, he loves these. He loves these. Look. These Temptations mix-ups. My daughter's so happy. She wanted me to get that exact package when we were at the store the other day. Last package. I'm not sure if this is from Nicole or if Nicole was just the shipper. Sloth Life, this knife is absolutely amazing. It has opened every package I think I've ever got since you sent it to me. Whoa. Hold, please. We have Pringles, Ghost Pepper Ranch, seven packages of Ghost Pepper Ranch Pringles, the best stuff ever. Oh my goodness, you can't find these anywhere. Why were they reduced? It says $1.13 on here. They shouldn't have been reduced. These are so good. Bug, are these from you? Are these from you? They're so good, thank you. My kids leave, they're like, we don't want those. Those are hot. Thank you. I have a call coming in right now. Let's see who this is. Hello? It's not connecting. Trying to hear it. It dropped. They even taste good. I like them. I like them. Thanks for... who is not helping Ariana's diet? We need him healthy. No, I'm good. I'm good. I've been exercising and everything. Thank you. The post office appreciates me picking these up. Sometimes they bug me like, hey, you got a package you need to come get. Last podcast, somebody said they were on the way. They are. They're here. I don't know who sent them. But I know that that Thomas has some as well. So. All right, that wraps up where we are today. We are going to be back again tomorrow with more court watching, but it's going to be the Mansion case. So it's going to be a little bit of a jump. from going from this case and sort of putting this one on pause till Tuesday and catching up on the Mansion case and then finishing this one and then going back to Mansion. That's the plan as it ends up. So awesome. Were you supposed to divvy those up and save a couple for someone else, or am I tripping? KLB, Thomas found some himself. So we're excited. I can keep these ones myself. From murder to murder. We're court hopping from murder to murder. But just those two cases. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for all your support. You guys are absolutely amazing. I appreciate the support you show me as well as each other. Gifting memberships is just wonderful. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe. To go live again, it will be tomorrow morning, about 8:30 or 8:45. Got a lot of court catch-up to do in the Mansion case, and there's a lot of drama. I think you guys are going to love it. This case is not on tomorrow. Friday they have off, and Monday they have off. I know it's a holiday on Monday. I'm going to be working it. I'm going to be working Friday. I'm going to be working Saturday. We just have that much court to catch up on. I told you, sometimes it's feast, sometimes it's famine. This is the feast time in court. There's just so much good stuff happening. We're trying to catch it all. So I can never leave until this song ends. Thank you. I have to go back and read the notes that my YouTube manager sent me because I ignored her a little bit. But is our RA eating cat food on the podcast tonight? Oh, hope not. Hope not. JR, thank you very much for the Kiki treats. My kids love it. Podcast tonight, 8 o'clock right here on this channel, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. What is it? I think it's 6 o'clock Mountain, right? 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. There you go. It's Martin Luther King Day on Monday. So you guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll see you tonight on the podcast. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
What more do you need to see?
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend.
In front of the Walmart.